Welcome to the Pop-Off with Gene FitzMagic and friends. Your daily sports and entertainment radio show, live all over the world. You're going to want to hear what these guys have to say. With their hot takes, recaps, previews, and predictions, sometimes these guys might get along, but most times, they won't. So see what happens when these guys pop off about the world of sports and entertainment.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Pop-Off Show. It is April 13th. I am your host, Gene FitzMagic, joined by Nigel Downer and Matt Hamilton. How you doing, my friends?
Good, man. I mean, as good as you can.
Yeah, you guys had a rough night last night, and I totally get it. You know what, dude? I don't know if you're more mad at really bad, poor free throw shooting or little girls that don't know how to keep their mouth shut. Maybe it's a little bit of both. But, yeah, you know what, guys? If you were watching the games last night, we got two pretty good games. I mean, they didn't end the way you would have wanted to end, I'm sure, on your side of it. But I thought we got two decent games last night. I enjoyed them. Do you want to get it? Do we want to discuss it now? Do you want to get it, or do you want to do the West Coast game first?
Let's just do it. Let's get it over with.
Just rip the Band-Aid off?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Let's talk Chicago and Toronto. Guys, you know what? I'm going to let Nigel start. I'm not even going to say anything because I don't have any skin in the game, as they say. So, Nigel, you go first. Just tell us about this debacle.
Listen, I think Maddie and I are going to share a lot of the same sentiments. So I'm only going to use about half, and then I'll let him say another half. But it was a debacle, man. Like it's hard to be completely mad at the Raps only because the lead that we built up and the momentum and just the machismo, just the pure gusto of the squad in the first half. It was like, for sure, man, we got this. We got this. We know who Chicago was. We knew they were going to be dangerous. We knew DeRozan had a little chip and Levine was there too. So we knew this was going to happen, but we didn't know to what extent. We didn't know to the extent that we could watch this thing slowly crumble. And you knew in your heart of hearts that it may go south. Like you could see it, and there was a feeling. And I mean, to miss as many free throws as we did, which was 18, is a travesty. And it's like, how is that even possible? This is your profession. Screaming girls or not. Now, that's a whole different story. I don't want to even get started on that. I mean, as a grown man, watching other grown men play professionally, and your daughter is out there on the sideline screaming every time, not only for broadcasting, but Twitter was losing their minds. Everybody was losing their minds because it was just annoying. Like, give her a couple of screams, and then DeRozan, tell your little one just to hush up first. She can do whatever else, but just don't scream during that one moment. That's all I got on that for now. Maddie, go on, take it away, bro.
Well, you know what it is? It's the scene from Dumb and Dumber when Jim Carrey's like, you know what's the most annoying sound in the world? He's doing that the whole fucking game, and it was just, hey. And I didn't really put it together because we didn't have the sound. We got like kids running around here, so we didn't have the sound on or loud for a lot of it. And I didn't put it together that it was his daughter until I remember at one point they did like a screen of her and then went right to DeRozan, and I was like, oh, is that DeRozan's daughter? Fuck off. That made it even more annoying. You know, I love DeRozan. Always will love DeRozan. But, I mean, yeah, it's a disappointing end to a disappointing team and a disappointing season that I thought. I mean, we talked about this before, but I was actually excited for their team. I kind of liked it. I liked the defensive athletic versatility with the wings, a lot of athletic kind of wings and pretty good shooters. But it's like, you know, Van Vliet didn't have a good year. And
he had a good game though yesterday.
He had a good game. He showed up.
He missed 3 free throws. But yeah, and like Siakam was good. He had a good game. OG was pretty good. But 18 that's the game. They got 36 free throws, which is a great sign. It means you're getting to the rim. You're driving, you get to the rim, which is important. But they're like a 76% free throw shooting team on the year, I think. And they shot 50. And all their best shooters, like Van Vliet's a 90% shooter. Siakam and OG, they're like high 70s, like almost 80% shooters. And Siakam bricked. I know it's different when there's pressure on. Like Mike Conley iced his the other night when he needed to. But yeah, like that's the game. The free throws of the game. Forget about the couple phantom foul calls. Forget about the fact that everyone was just going by Van Vliet to the hoop whenever they wanted to in the fourth quarter. And the defense kind of just, I wouldn't say collapsed or crumbled, because Chicago's got some playmakers, some good teams. Like DeRozan can knife to the rim with the best of them. He was awesome. And Levine was ice cold. So it's hard to, you can't just like shit on the Raptors for that, because those are really, really good players. But it's the free throws, man. It's the free throws. You make those, and it's you're breathing easy today.
I'll tell you who else hurt you guys a little bit. And I know he comes off the bench, but he's a key guy off the bench. Is Gary Trent, 1 for 7, 0 for 5 from 3-point range. I thought it had if you get a couple more baskets from him. But Siakam played well, Van Fleet played well, Scotty Barnes played well. If I told you those three guys are going to have a good game, you'd feel comfortable, no?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's what I said yesterday, right? That's what I predicted yesterday. I was like, all we need is our playmakers, those three dudes, to step up, especially Freddie, just to be the floor general, which again happened. It was just a slow burn for some reason. I don't know what,
I think the bench hurt you guys. Only 8 points off the bench. We said it a lot yesterday. That was the theme yesterday. The bench is not coming through is what hurt, those teams. Same thing yesterday. You guys are outscored on the bench 21-8. Also, Levine, you know what? Big comeback by Chicago. Levine was part of it. 30 points in the second half alone and 9 going into halftime. They were down 11 and then added 30 points in the second half.
You call him Levine?
That's what we call him Levine down here. I don't know. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. You guys call him Levine up there?
Yeah,
we call him Levine down here. I wish my son was here. I called him Levine one time. My son yelled at me for calling him Levine one time. So ever since then, I know. All right,
it's Levine. Oh, maybe I've been saying it wrong the whole time. I don't know.
So I think if it was L-E, makes it Levine, but it's because it's L-A, it's Levine.
Okay. So good to know. Noted.
Every day. But listen, what else can you do? I mean, I really think it came down to the free throws on the bench. Maybe the free throws even more importantly than the bench, because a lot of those free throws right down there in the clutch, and Levine ended up taking over the game in the second half.
Well, the thing with the free throws, it's not like a what-if situation where it's like, oh, like if you were to hit that three, what would have happened? But that affects the next play, right? So everything's butterfly effect. Free throws, it doesn't. You hit the free throws, it's just like, it doesn't really affect anything for the rest of the game. There's no like butterfly effect. They're very limited. Maybe they get an offensive rebound or defensive rebound or maybe they don't get one on a sunk one, but it's just like, and like Gary Trent, that's a good point. Like he's there to be a shooter.
Yep. And
when you're not hitting shots, it's not great, Jim.
It's like free throws are free points, if you will. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's no obstacles in your way. It's just you and your perfect shot and the perfect setting, and with your technique, and you just take a couple of breaths, dribble the ball a couple of times, shoot it, and it should go in. Now, obviously, we've seen some very horrible free throw shooters, but we're talking about our team's best free throw shooters. That's what gets me. It's like in football and I think the narrative is, how can you miss an extra point after a touchdown? Like, how can you miss that? How can you miss that extra point? It's a free kick. The kicker should be able to do that with his eyes closed, or even 3 points, or even if you're kicking a field goal within 20 yards, you should be able to make that. And if you're not making those, I think the effect can be, those are the points that you could have used or had that were right in front of your face that you missed. And that's the difference. That is the difference. At 18 free throws, you miss 18 times 2, just 18 points in general are gone. And you
lost by 4.
Yeah, so you
lost by 4. Yeah.
So it's like that's the storyline here, right? Everything else, for lack of a better word, a mundane word, was fine. The game was exciting. We knew what was going to happen, and it was the free throws, and it was just like, and we have a history of the third quarter is the bane of our existence, I think. I think we come out of half, and it's like we take so long to either start up or we slow down by the end of that quarter. And then we're either really trying to ramp back up in the fourth to hold that lead or to get that win or to make that comeback. But for me, I think on almost a consistent basis, the third quarter, my Raps just can't put it together. But when they do, when they put it together on that third, they make those defensive stops out the gate and they put in those buckets that the other team's not getting, rebounding, Siakam's lighting it up. We're good. We're good. We can coast through the fourth. But we just, for some reason, man, and that's what happened again last night. And it just fell apart.
I feel like we lost a lot of games this year in the fourth quarter. We lost leads.
Totally.
And we just didn't have the – and you know what? And maybe this is a good way to end this season, this roster for the Raps, because it doesn't totally work. I don't know if they're going to trade OG. I don't know if you're going to re-sign Freddie. I mean, Freddie shot like under 40% for the year from the floor.
And Portal, he's a free agent too. And then who knows what's going to happen with our boy Nick Nurse? Who knows? So
sounds like they both are ready to move on.
Might be.
Which is I mean, maybe it's time. You know, eventually everyone tunes out, or whatever this.
You need a voice,
Yeah, so maybe that's the case. I don't know, but this roster can't really move forward the way it is. I don't think.
That brings me, because I was going to actually follow up that question. Me and you guys are the hometown guys. I wanted to ask you guys two questions. A, who is your GOAT of the game, and what changes do you think needs to be made on this roster?
My GOAT of the game is probably going to be Freddie, to be honest with you. Freddie, and then Siakam, I think, is a close second, because Siakam did make a lot of clutch shots, but Freddie was just like, he was just so elite, and he really ran around. He tried so hard to make sure things were going our way. If he wasn't like throwing down shots, and he's at least passing the ball off. But the changes are, I feel like we're still all the same height. Like, I just feel like we still need a little bit more diversity on the court in terms of what we have after Freddie. It is like after Freddie, all of a sudden we just have everybody who's like, between 6'7" and
6'9".
Yeah, and 6'9", and that's it. I think it's just like getting somebody who is I would love to have a true shooter, like a true kick out 3-pointer, or somebody who can do something from the beyond the arc, instead of like kind of pins and needles or like, touch and go. If Siakam gets it, you're like, is he gonna every time? Like, I want a true shooter, like a Tyler Hero type, or like, somebody who's just going to be on the outskirts. I think that's all we're missing ish.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. We have a lot of pretty good 3-point shooters, but I don't think we have a great one. I don't know what Trent's 3 percentage was this year, but I think although Freddie had a bit of a down year shooting wise, I think he's still around 35. I think Siakam's about the same. I think OG's about 37. So those are like fine numbers, but I think you're right. I think we need better. I think we need a big man. I like Precious and I like Boucher, but they're too small inside. So Pirtle, if you're not going to re-sign Pirtle, we need someone like that. And depends what happens at the draft. Depends if you're going to trade OG. Because maybe like Siakam, OG, and Scotty's too much of a similar person. I like OG a lot. I like him a lot. He's a great defender. I don't want to trade him, but he's fucking hurt all the time.
Yeah, he was number one. I believe he had number one steals in the league, right?
Yeah, and he's a freak. Have you seen his wingspan?
Yeah,
he's a freak, and he's a good player that can shoot. I like that. And Scotty shooting regressed this year, but I'm not he works his ass off, so I'm not willing to give up on him like that. And they were kind of giving him a little bit of the Ben Simmons thing. When he had the ball, they're laying back about 5 to 10 feet. They're like, "Okay, shoot. If you're gonna shoot. We're happy. We're happy with that trade." And so he didn't have a very good shooting year, but he's a good defender. He hustles his ass off. So I think you got to keep him. He was the reason we weren't going to trade for Durant. So I don't think we can trade him now. So let's keep him. Let's keep him. And I like Siakam a lot. I don't think he's going to be that number 1A killer guy, but he's a good defender. He's a good shooter, but he's if you're averaging, what do you average this year? 26 like 8-5 or something.
So close to that.
Close. Yeah, that's in the neighborhood.
Yeah,
No.
that's you take that. You take that. Well, I'm done with my Raptors rant. Hit a fucking free throw.
R.I.P.
We're in a tough.
R.I.P. Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, we're
R.I.P.
just in a tough spot
in Canada.
Yeah. R.I.P. Yeah, we're just in a tough spot right now, man. Like just with the pieces that we have, the assets we have, it's we might have to give up a lot to get something different. I wouldn't say like something better, just something different. It's tough, man. We're not in a great spot in the draft. We're not in a great spot contractually. So it's just like with all our players. So it's who knows what we're gonna have come the fall. Who knows?
I tell you what, we had the perfect timing for that Kawhi Leonard trade. We gave up no picks. Nowadays, that trade would have been DeRozan, Pirtle, 3 firsts, and 2 picks. Like we just Pirtle and DeRozan.
Yeah.
That's great.
For a ring, no problem.
Yeah, Danny Green, yeah.
Not this year, guys. But
moving on.
Let's go to OKC. The OKC New Orleans game, guys. Another good game. Let me tell you. Let me start with this one. I thought it was a pretty good back and forth game. Here's where they won it. Is the OKC backcourt was straight gas last night. Combined, Shai, Giddey, and Dort. Combined for 90 points in that backcourt, 45% from 3-point range. That's where that game was won, man. Shai had 25 points in the second half. So just when you thought maybe he wasn't really on for the day, he brings it back in the second half and goes off for 25 points and had that clutch go-at jumper with a bunch of he hit his free throws at least.
Wait. Are you saying that OKC won?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yo,
that's right.
So Matt, you weren't here yesterday, but on the pod, I was like, I was the only person who called it. I said, listen, Shai.
I picked it the day before.
I said, Shai and the boys. I'm giving it to Shai, a Toronto kid. I'm giving it to him. I'm giving it to OKC, the youth. I think they might do something. And I told you guys I wasn't going to watch the game. I watched the first half, and I was like, that's a wrap for me. Don't care about this game. And that OKC actually won it. Amazing. Sorry to interrupt, Gene. I didn't know what the outcome was. So this is news to me.
So at least one Canadian hit some free throws, and it was Shai, even though he doesn't play there anymore. But yeah, listen, he had a fantastic game. 25 points in the second half. I think finished with 32 overall. He hit that go-ahead jumper late in the game. Had hit a bunch of clutch free throws to ice the game. 123-118. But this was a good game overall. Matt, what was your view on this one?
Well, I'm on the East Coast, like I told you, for the 2 weeks, so I didn't watch the game.
So neither of you guys did you catch it? Did you catch any of the replays?
I saw it. Well, I looked this morning and saw it, but it's like one thing I hate about the East Coast is watching sports. It sucks, man. I don't want to start watching a game at 10 p.m. or 10:30 p.m.
But you guys have to start watching them at like 5 o'clock. A lot of people still work when games start over there on the West Coast. You don't have any typical 9 to 5, so I guess it's different for you.
4 o'clock start, that's great. By the time the last game ends, like, okay, let's go get a pint. It's great, man. It's great.
Well, I would love football on Sundays because everything's. I'm up early anyway. I would love to be able to start my day in the morning, a little breakfast and a little eggs and bacon, and then some football. I would love it.
Have a coffee, go over your fantasy lineups. Game start at 10. Boom, done. You don't have to stay up till 11:30 p.m. So I didn't watch the game. I was in bed. I got my nieces on. They have an alarm clock system with me. They're not allowed in my room before 8. But this morning, 8 o'clock, I opened my eyes. My 8-year-old's holding the 2-year-old, and they're standing over me, grabbing my hand. It's like,
Uncle Matt.
Yeah, it's time to wake up. I'm like, oh, good. Good. Okay. Yeah. Let's go. All right. So that doesn't leave a lot of late night sports watching for me, unfortunately. So I didn't watch it, but yeah, Giddey's a baller, man. I like that kid. And SGA, ice cold. And yeah, the Pelicans are a mess. They're a fucking mess. McCollum had a bad game.
Yeah, McCollum not as good as we thought he was in Portland, though.
I think he's a good player. He's just a complimentary player. I think he's
that's maybe what it is.
Yeah,
I think when they got him, I think they were looking for him to be more than just what he's been. I feel like I can't imagine New Orleans is happy with that trade. I think they expected more from him. He only averaged about, I say only, it's not like but averaged 20 points a game.
Yeah, he's 20. But again, that team is a totally different team if Zion's playing.
Stephen A. Smith said that Zion plays, they might be going to the finals this year. That's how good that team is.
Yeah, I mean, they were 23-12. Well, Stephen A. Smith is a take machine, so I don't know if you can take anything he says seriously. But
Fair enough.
and Lonzo too, right?
Well, Lonzo's in Chicago now. He just hasn't played this year.
Right, Chicago. But God, we'll go back to that kid. Man, that guy has no luck. If any luck, he's got no luck. Jesus Christ. But yeah, like I don't know. It's hard. It's like hard to carve up the Pelicans because their best player hurt his hamstring 12 years ago and hasn't played since. Like
pretty much.
Did he get shot? Like wasn't it like I swear it was supposed to be like a week or two.
That's what it wasn't supposed to be all season. I remember that. Like we were, and even now they're saying he might play in the that doesn't matter anymore, but he might have played in the playoffs. We don't really know. I think the consensus yesterday when we spoke about it was that he wasn't going to be even if they won this game. And I think it makes sense. Start fresh for them next year. Let them get the full rest. I just hope as a basketball fan, we get a full season of Williamson next year because he's so fun to watch.
Yeah, agreed.
He just can't maintain his health. It's like they traded one injury-prone player with AD, and then they got another one. So it's kind of I feel bad for New Orleans fans not getting to see that the full force of what that team can do. Fully
Dude, they got a
Death
worse
Star,
one.
as they say.
They got a worse one. Then they get another one. They got a worse one.
Yeah.
Possibly.
How many games has Zion played since he's been drafted? Like how many games has he played?
No, yeah, I mean,
with the Pelicans, you know what I mean?
It's just this is year number 3, right? Is it year 3 or year 4?
Yeah.
Year 3, I think.
158 games or something like that.
It's crazy. It's like 50 a year, man. Yeah, you can't. You're playing a third of the season at most. It doesn't work for anybody. So what are we looking at? We got Chicago and Miami in the first playing game tomorrow night, and we got OKC and Minnesota. Who do you got coming out of those two?
I don't know what to think of Miami. Like I said the other day, I thought Miami was going to smoke Atlanta.
Yeah.
Especially if they get a good game out of Kyle Lowry. They got the best game out of Lowry he's had in 2 years.
Yeah.
And they lost. So, fuck, man, I don't know. Miami's such a weird team. Like I think they have a better reputation than they do a team.
Correct. I agree with that. I think they're living on the reputation of what they had done in the past because they were that team. I think they're living off that reputation still
in the bubble.
Although in the bubble. Although I'll tell you what, I still think they win this game. I think they're so pissed off. I think they're going to come back Friday night, tomorrow night, on fire. I think they're going to have something to prove, and I think they're actually going to win this game.
I agree, 100%. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Miami. I think they got a nice glimpse of mortality, and I think that they're gonna light that fire under their butts, man, and get it done. I think Chicago's still going to be dangerous, but
I see a good game. I see a good game coming down to the wire. I just think Miami pulls it out in the end.
Yeah, I agree.
And the OKC game, I don't know. This is a weird one. I don't know what to make of it. Minnesota played really a lot better than I thought they would against LA. They just didn't have enough to win it in the end. They were up by I think double digits at half.
Yeah,
they couldn't close it out. And OKC is another one where they played better than I thought they would too in the last game. So I got to be honest, this is a tough game for me to call. Matt, who do you got coming out of that one?
Gobert's back, right? I don't know.
I believe
yes.
I believe so. I think it was just the one game.
Yeah, I don't know if that's good or bad for Minnesota, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. Who do I want to win? I want OKC to win.
Me too, but I can't. Who do you think's going to win?
Like Minnesota played really, really good the other night.
That's what I'm saying. I would typically without that game, I probably would have said OKC, no problem. But they played really well the other day, and now they're even getting a guy back. So are they on a mission? Are they, I could see them now. If push comes to shove, I go OKC. I think OKC is going. I think Shai is too much, especially when that backcourt plays the way they did last game.
Yeah.
Like the Chicago Miami game. That's such an evenly contested game. I think this one's not as even. I think OKC should win this one. I wouldn't say easily because it is on the road, but I do think they win decidedly.
Okay, Nigel, who you got?
I got Minnesota, kids. I think I'm going to buck the trend a little bit on this one because from what I saw, how Minnesota played against the Lakers, right? the way that they played seemed so fundamentally sound. Like it was kind of scary to watch them handle. And Cat, I mean, I love that dude, and I just want him. I just want a little bit more for him because I think everybody loves the guy, and I just think he needs it. And I just feel like, but after this, I think they're dead in the water. But I just think in this game, I think it's going to be Minnesota. I think this is where the OKC. I think the train stops here with them. The young kids put up a great fight, but I think it's a wrap on them.
All right. So you're taking Chicago, right, Matt? You said Chicago?
No.
Oh, so we were all three of us taking Miami.
Oh, Miami, yeah.
And then two of us are taking OKC, one of us is taking Minnesota. I think Nigel's only taking Minnesota because that's the closest to Canada thing you got left in this league.
They claim that they're more northern than we are. Once we started using that moniker, like we're the North, they were like, geographically, we're actually more northern than you are.
They were the North.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So you know what? Guys, looking for the playing game it's tomorrow. Both games should be pretty good, especially that Chicago-Miami game. I feel like it feels almost like a throwback kind of a game, man. Like, you think about like some of those teams in the 90s when they used to battle. So go check those games out. We're going to take a short commercial break. We're going to come back to some NFL headlines.
Craving your favorite theme park treats right from the comfort of your home? Introducing MainStreetTreat.com. We bring your favorite treats right to your doorstep. Visit MainStreetTreat.com today and go ahead, treat yourself.
Happiness is addictive. Passionate about spreading laughter and creating smiles worldwide. Happiness is addictive brings our global community together through humor, optimism, cheer, hopefulness, and merriment. Happiness is addictive. Happiness is addictive.
Guys, you want to book a vacation? Try your fairy tale vacation with our boy over there, Neil Shukart. You can email him at Neil. It's Neil at yourfairytalevacation.com. You can find him on Instagram, Disney Universal Travel Planner. And you can call him on his cell, 713-817-5934. All his quotes are 100% free. His travel planning is 100% free. And he specializes in Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Orlando, Universal Orlando, Universal Hollywood, and even those big cruise ships, Disney Cruise Line, Royal Caribbean, Holland, America, Norwegian Cruise Line, Princess Cruise Line. Guys, if you're looking to book a vacation, go talk to Neil. You got his information right there on the screen. Remember, Neil at yourfairytalevacation.com. All right, guys. Let's get into some headlines. Let's see. Let's go. Saquon Barkley will not sign his franchise tender before the Giants off-season program. So question, guys, is he going to not sign it before that, or is he not going to sign it at all? Matt, what do you think?
Listen, I get he wants to get paid, but you can't pay running backs. Which sucks because the NFL, like, they have the shortest career span.
Yeah.
And everyone, like, quarterbacks are getting paid. They're getting the bag big time. And running backs, like, they can find a running back in the second or third round that's going to be effective. Like, Saquon was sick last year. Of course he was, because it was the first year I didn't have him on my fantasy team. Well, he's got, like, look at some of the deals for the running backs already. Like, there's some guys going for, like, David Montgomery. What did he sign for? Like $3 to $5 million or something like that. So
yeah, not much.
You know, and you can't.
But to be fair, he's way better than David Montgomery, though.
Sure, but I mean, look what the Cowboys just went through with Zeke, and that was like what, $15 million.
Yeah,
and he just became like he was an effective running back. Sure, great blocker, but it just became like it's not worth it. So
Especially
I think he should sign
as well.
Because I think if his franchise tender is what, $12 million?
I thought it was.
Is that what it is?
I thought it was around. I thought it was northwards of like 15 million.
15?
I could be wrong. But,
So what I think ends up happening is, I mean, I think that the realistic deal is like probably the Giants want to do like a 3-year, $25 million, $30 million maybe.
I don't know if that gets it done though.
Probably not, but I mean, I think that's what he should do given what the market is.
I agree. Listen, the market is not there for like every other position. It's always that second contract is the big contract for most other positions. With running backs, that second contract, you got to get it in. You got to get that second contract early before your first one is up with your rookie deal, because you're just not going to see the value as you would if you get that thing signed like second or third year. It makes me wonder if they're going to change this eventually for running backs, because it isn't fair to running backs, because he still does have some effective years. So there's got to be a way. Maybe you sound that's what I'm saying. He's got some time left in him. He did miss a year, so I know you worry about you say, oh well, he does have the injury history, but it's also less miles on those legs, right? So there's that, right, Nudge?
Yeah, man, the guy's a true athlete. He's only 26, and it's ridiculous at like how phenomenal he is with a team that he's with. Like, the Giants have never been great. Their O-line is obviously pretty good, but it's nothing to write home about. And he's constantly putting up the numbers. I mean, the guy is just ridiculous. He had like over 1,300 yards last year. So it's just like, all right, man, 10 touchdowns. So it's like the guy's a monster. But I don't know how these teams are gonna balance those sheets, right? Like it's like, what do you want to prioritize? Or if you do, then give it to the back, give it to the running back, man. Or like Matt says, draft somebody. I don't know, make a trade. I don't know.
Yeah, no. And here's the thing: they did just give a big contract to the quarterback, who I don't know if he's the answer over there, but he did have a decent year. You need the quarterback. But you need a quarterback is that more, whether he's good or is not. Like, we all know Barkley's a better running back than Daniel Jones is.
Yeah,
we know that. But you can have a great running back and win 4 games.
Yeah,
you can't. If you have a great quarterback, you're going to win more games. You need the quarterback. So I think you got to look at it like you have to take that chance on paying the quarterback first, because you need him to be everything. The running back. Listen, like how many great running backs have won the Super Bowls? Not as many as the great quarterbacks.
Yeah. I mean, he's getting $40 million, which is a fucking lot, because Daniel. I mean, he had 15 touchdown passes last year.
I know. Listen, I'm in the New York market, man. I
but it's only a 3-year deal, so that gives him a chance to maybe draft one in the next year or two and kind of
see what you got.
And have a more kind of traditional pocket passer kind of guy, or more confident passer. But
also those Daniels numbers. Those Daniels numbers, those came out of nowhere, though, right? Let's just be I
don't think anyone thought. I think a lot of people thought it was gonna be like 25
deal. Like that's like almost unheard of for quarterbacks.
Yeah.
On their make their 5th year, they just were like, "Nah, we're good."
Hey guys, you know what? I want to announce we Dom has finally came in. Dom is with us now. He was having some internet issues before, I believe. There we go.
Oh, is he on British time or something? What's going on?
He's on British.
Yeah. Hey, Dom, welcome.
Hey, guys. Sorry, LA time and children. So, yeah.
There we go. So you're with us now. So we're doing some headlines right now. So let's break it to our next headline. The Titans, Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill available in trade, ? I would not be surprised if either of these guys are available. It's a foregone conclusion. We know Tennessee is looking to make a move at the quarterback spot. They drafted a guy last year. They are already sour on him. They look to be moving up in the draft now. I think the consensus pick for them is a lot of people think they're in love with Will Levis from Kentucky. I could see that being a fit for them. And I also think I could see them moving on from Derrick Henry. He's getting paid a ton. Dallas has been nosing around Derrick Henry for the last year or two. Let's go. Dom, you just got here. What do you think?
Dude, you know me.
I'm just picking.
Why are you just fucking with me?
Matt, what do you got over there?
I think they should move on. Derrick Henry.
Both players?
I think on both. Derrick Henry's still a beast, but these huge backs with a lot of carries, eventually it just ends. There's no like slow progression. It's just like over. You're done. Eddie George, 1 year you're all pro, next year you have 900 yards, next year you're out of the league. It's like, what? He was like Steven Jackson, another guy. Like those yards, those hard yards, they catch up to
Michael
you.
Turner, you know,
yeah,
you could a laundry list of guys that all of a sudden go.
Yeah, I think now's the time. Sell as high as you can on him.
Yeah.
And then replace in the draft and maybe get some capital to go after that quarterback. Where are they picking?
They got to move up. I forget where they are, but they do have to move up. They do have to move up.
Yeah, so
they can't get.
He's a fine quarterback. He's a fine quarterback. I mean, there's teams that need better quarterback than they had last year. So I would move on from both if I were them.
Listen, if the Jets had Tannehill last year, they probably make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they were that close, and Tannehill was that much better than what we had there. But
if the Jets had me at quarterback last year, they might make the playoffs.
Good point. Good. Yeah. That's a. Typically, you'd say that's crazy talk, but that's actually with Zach Wilson. That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. Nigel, what do you got?
I'm going to extrapolate what Matt said there, and what I'm going to focus on is the excitement from those backs that he mentioned. So for sure, they can be like one season, gods, and the next season they could be like, just not gods, just regular human beings, and just and down on their luck. But the excitement of for me, having Derrick Henry bounce away from Tennessee, get out of there, dog, get out of there. There's so many other teams that I would love to see him on. And when I say that, I mean ridiculous teams, like put him on Chicago or put him in Dallas, or not Dallas, Baltimore, no, the Colts. Put him on Indies. Give me a team where there's some kind of glimmer of hope where he could be rejuvenated in terms of the team spirit is now going to be lifted. The fans are losing their minds. That's where I think he should go. He should go to a team that is average at best, because this isn't the NBA. You can't just bop over to a contender and kind of walk in to the Super Bowl. That's not how football works. Football's never worked like that. But you can go to a team that is going to love you and respect you and appreciate you just as much or even more than the team you just came from. And I think giving him a fresh new jersey, a fresh new atmosphere, that could be really fun, man. As for Tannehill, I don't care. Tannehill's Tannehill for me, man. He's fine. But again, he's another dude. You just don't know what you're going to get the next season.
He's all about the system, too. He's not in the right system. He's not going to – I mean, look what it was when he was in Miami. Everyone thought he was a bust, and then comes to Tennessee, has some good years.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. If I don't want Tannehill on my Jets, but if this Rodgers thing doesn't work itself out, and all of a sudden it just doesn't happen for whatever reason, which I don't think will happen. I think the trade's going to happen. But if for whatever reason if it doesn't, Tannehill is not a bad fallback plan. I would take Tannehill, probably draft another quarterback at that point, maybe Anthony Richardson. Move back if I can get Anthony Richardson in the second round, that's possible, right? I don't think necessarily he's got to go in the first round. I might take a gamble on him. I don't think any of these quarterbacks are really the guy. I think they're going to be. I think you have some good, decent quarterbacks, but I don't think there's any stars in that bunch in this draft. But I would take a shot maybe with Richardson and see what you got, and then Tannehill for a year or two. You got all the rest of the pieces around it. So Tannehill will be good in a spot where there's already pieces. He's not a guy that's going to get you over the hump unless you already have everything else. He's a guy that if you already have everything else set, he can come and set the table. So that's my take on it. But all right, so we got Giants expected Julian Love to resign. He's a decent safety. I expected him to resign too. I thought he had a home year. Went to Seattle, but Seattle I think maybe overpaid a little bit for him. Then but Bill's meeting with to me this is important because Latavius Murray's been one of those backs that's never gotten a lot of carries throughout his career, and he seems to have been able to maintain some longevity. I think he'd be a great fit for Buffalo. Buffalo needs some good backs. That's one of the things I think that hurts them is they have decent, okay backs, but this is a good. This is a back that I think still has some legs left. What do you guys think?
He's a big boy.
He definitely is a big guy.
And they needed that because they got James Cook and Singletary and Buffalo. Singletary's still there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But to me, then they're just my problem with Cook is
they're very similar. But
they're exactly the same. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think he's going to come in as a change of pace, third down back, a goal line back, and he's been effective everywhere he's gone.
That's what I'm saying. He seems like he's been around for a while. And everywhere he goes, he plays well. My thing with Cook and Singletary is there's just nothing. There's nothing exciting about them. They're good running backs. They're not great running backs. I think if Buffalo had a great running back, same thing. I say the same thing all the time about Cincinnati. Cincinnati has Mixon. Mixon's a good running back. If they had a great running back, could you imagine those two offenses with great running backs?
I think they should. I mean, having Cook and Singletary and Latavius Murray, it's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Oh, I didn't even mean to do that part. That was terrible.
You should have committed. You should have committed.
Yeah. I think they'd probably move on from Singletary if they're going to move on from one of them.
I think so. Yeah, Cook's younger.
Good promise. It looks like a good back. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. They're a good team. We'll see if Josh Allen can cut down throwing interceptions in the end zone.
Well, we'll see. Jeff Bezos is not planning a Commanders bid. I know a lot of talk. Listen, I think everybody would love for the owner now to be out of Washington. I think we've all had enough of his antics. Bezos, would he have been a good owner, Nigel?
I don't know. I want to give you an educated answer, and I don't think I can. Because I don't think this franchise, the Washington football team, is just such a weird, like they've been in such a weird black hole since, the uprising of getting their name changed, which they needed to do, obviously. But then like the leak of the Commander's name and then the uprising about how the name sucks and then their brand comes out and you're like,
the name does suck. It might have needed to change. But the name does suck.
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to fight you on that because I think you're right. So, and just everything about the franchise, they're just really struggling right now with everything. I mean, to take it back to the actual topic, I think Bezos just attaching his name to the Commanders is more of just buzz. I don't think it was actually going to be a thing. I feel like he might have just mentioned it in a press conference, or just happened to say that, I was in Washington one day. And then one reporter was like, Jeff, are you going to check out a Commanders game? He's like, who are they? And they're like, oh, maybe he's interested because he doesn't know who they are. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's what it was. Who cares? It's not gonna happen.
The rumor is that him and Snyder don't get along. And I think it might have been more of like just a kind of like a little dig at Snyder. I don't think Bezos had any intention of buying the Commanders. I think he was just having a little fun with the press and at Snyder's expense.
Who gets along with Snyder?
I don't know if anybody really gets along with Snyder. Who's
out there going on? Dan Snyder, sick dude. You've never heard that.
Sick dude.
He's a bad dude. Now, I know that
piece of shit.
Oh, he's about as garbage can be. Just a garbage individual. I'm sorry for Mrs. Snyder. But, it looks like the 76ers owner, Josh Harris, is a guy. I believe he's already made a bid. So he might be a guy that comes in and buys this team. I think we all can say Bezos I think Bezos would have been more of a distraction than a good owner because he likes to, he's one of these guys that likes to be in the press.
Does he like football, though? Is he a known football guy?
I don't know specifically if he is a football guy or not.
Those big guys can work. I mean, not to always bring everything back to the Clippers, but I mean, it
worked for Bamba, but Bamba's a basketball fan.
That's what I mean. So I don't know if Bezos is a huge football fan. If he was, then if he's got passion for it, it could work.
The other thing is Ballmer seems like to always have been a decent guy. Bezos is kind of a douche a little bit. Like there's something about Bezos that is unlikable. Ballmer's always been a likable guy. So there's a little difference in that. It might be. He's got a dickish face. He definitely has a dickish face.
I think it would just be a ruse. I think it would just be a stunt. It would just be another acquisition to him. I mean, he's got so many things. I think Dom would just be another toy for him. I don't know how much stakes he would actually have in it. But listen, I don't know the guy, so who knows what he's thinking. But in my opinion, I mean, this guy's got Amazon. He's a founder of Blue Origin, founder of Bezos Expeditions. Like, come on, man. And then you want to own an NFL team? Why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
Aren't you already busy? Like getting richer and spending their money. That's Elon Musk. Elon Musk just starts buying shit and tanking his money.
Yeah. True.
So then we got Bailey Zappy is ready to compete for the starting job if his opportunity presents itself. Do we think Mac Jones is going to hold on to that job? Bailey Zappy looked good in certain spots last year, but also didn't look good in certain spots. Do we expect him to keep that job, Mac Jones, or does Bailey Zappy have a shot in the preseason to overtake that team?
I think you give Mac Jones another chance because last year wasn't good, but the team sucked and their offensive coordinator, like
there's a lot of battles
right now, collectively would be better as an offensive coordinator than Matt Patricia was last year. He was
he's a defensive guy anyway, so like that made no sense.
Not only that, like defensive coordinators can be successful offensive coordinators. I'm sure there's been people who have done it, but their offense last year was. I mean, I listened to a couple podcasts where they're Pat fans that are hosted by Pat fans. So like just hearing the gripes straight from the source was something. I think you give him a shot with. They got a real offensive coordinator in there now, Bill O'Brien. Mm-hmm. So I think you give him a shot. Like he was pretty good his rookie year. He was pretty good.
Yeah.
Last year he stunk. I say you kind of put all your trust in Mac and see what happens. Zappy was fine. I don't know. To be honest, I think they're both.
Well, Zappy was popular because who's the most popular person on every football team? The backup quarterback, right? The backup quarterback. Nobody ever dislikes the backup quarterback. So that might have been part of it too. Is he looked good and Jones didn't, and so everybody loves Zappy. If let me ask you this though, Jones comes in has a horrendous preseason, and Zappy has a good preseason. Do we think there's a change of coming?
Probably.
I want to say no.
I don't know. Bill Belichick is one of those guys, and the reason why he put Matt Patricia as the offensive coordinator is because Bill Belichick is one of those guys that always thinks he's smarter than everybody else. Sometimes he is. Most times he is. But sometimes a lot of times he is. But sometimes he overthinks it, and he does something so crazy, and you say, well, he must know what he's doing because he's so great. Sometimes I feel like he does crazy things just because he's like, I want to see people actually second guess me here. I think that's what it was. I think he's just trying to rethink the wheel. Reimagine the wheel, but putting Patricia there at
reinvent the wheel.
Reinvent the wheel. Thank you very much from you Canadians. I think what's funny? I'm the only American on the show today. I just realized that I'm the only American on the show today.
Technically, that's not true.
Well, Dom is in the U.S.
I'm a U.S. citizen.
Fair enough. But yeah, so I think Bill Belichick's problem is sometimes he tries to reinvent the wheel too many times because he has the track record of being able to do it, and sometimes he tries to go a little crazy, and sometimes it doesn't work. And listen, he's not going to be right 100% of the time. He's just not.
I think that this is one of those times though that he's not even trying to reinvent the wheel. He's trying to reinvent his Pats. He's really trying to bring them back to some kind of glory, because obviously for like almost 2 decades that team has been the cream of the crop, and I think that he has taken chances with like a Randy Moss and all kinds of other players, and he's also made a bunch of players, right? Like he's also taken the team to Super Bowls that had, I don't want to say a bunch of nobodies, but people that were very average, and he's just trained them up.
Wes Welker.
That's literally who I was just going to mention, and made them part of the system. So I think that Mac Jones, I've actually had Mac Jones on 2 of my fantasy teams, not out the gate. Listen, hold on, Matt. Hold on. In both instances, he was at his peak. So when his rookie year was like towards the end, when he was doing all right, he was playing okay, and he was always my backup. And then in this past season, I had him at the beginning when he was playing well before he dropped. So just before he dropped, I was like, I got to let the guy go. So he has these spurts. It's just he just needs to have a nice complete streak. Yeah, he just has to have a complete couple of seasons under his belt. And also Zappy, like, who doesn't love the name Zappy? Who doesn't like saying the name Zappy? You got to remember, some of these backup quarterbacks, they have weird names. And Americans, you guys love weird name dudes. You guys love that shit. So it's like, so like all of a sudden, you got the Zap Patrol, or I've been zapped, or whatever the pun is. And
Zaptastic.
And you guys root for that player, right? And then they end up really sucking, and then you turn coat on him. But I mean, I don't know. I still think Mac Jones is going to be the guy until he proves that he's not.
There you go. And now here's my thing. Giants DL Dexter Lawrence seeking an extension. He doesn't plan on to camp as well. That's why you can't just throw money at Saquon Barkley, because as important as Saquon Barkley is, it's a lot easier to find a really good running back than it is to find someone of Dexter Lawrence's caliber on the defensive line. You're gonna have to pay that man too. In fact, if I'm a GM, I'm paying him before I pay Saquon, because I think he's more important to that defensive line than Saquon is. You can get another stud. Listen, you can draft Bijan Robinson probably in the second round this year.
Mhm.
Giants will be able to have a shot at Bijan Robinson, who's going to be an absolute stud when he hits the NFL. They'll have a shot at him. So my thing is, you can replace Saquon Barkley quicker than you can replace. Listen, there's some good defensive tackles in this draft. I get it, but what Dexter Lawrence is. Some of these defensive tackles that come out, it's a crapshoot. They might look really great and they don't really pan out the same way. And some guys come out of nowhere. Dexter Lawrence, you already know, is a stud. It's going to be harder to find another Dexter Lawrence than it is going to be able to find another Saquon Barkley. So my thing is, that's why I don't pay him. I pay Dexter Lawrence. I don't pay Saquon.
Agreed.
And the best news of the day: Tampa Bay is bringing back the creamsicle uniform. Who's excited for that?
I am right here. Who's going to buy that hat? This guy.
This guy. You know what? I didn't ask you about the hat today. I was going to do it at a commercial break, and I completely forgot. My apologies.
No.
I'm sorry.
Perfect segue. Then I'll talk about it.
We're gonna get back into the NBA, but before we do, let's talk about the hat real quick.
Yeah, real quick. This hat today, I can't remember who is brought to you by, but this is the Toronto Strong Arm. So this was the Toronto Blue Jays logo from the 2000s. I believe it's actually 2000. However, this hat has a corduroy brim on the front right here. It's got your 20th anniversary patch on the side. Flap out for those who are watching and for those,
like
that.
Yeah.
And it's full back all the way. So you got the flat batterman. It's got the black guts on the inside, and it's got a red UV, so that's the under visor. And special thing about this hat is in the Raptors colorway. So although our Raptors are done for the season, I still make sure to respect and represent them all offseason by wearing other Toronto sports teams in their colorways, or I'll just wear my Raps hat. But yeah, so that's what's going on today.
Nigel, don't be afraid to throw in some Maple Leaf shit now. We got some big games coming up here, bud.
Listen, dog. Next time me and you are on the pod, I'm gonna make sure I'll check it out. I got something I'll throw your way. I got a couple things. I'm a brother, but sometimes I gotta have some staples in the roster. So if somebody does invite me to a Leafs game, I got something.
Yeah, exactly.
Your Blue Jays are tied with my Yankees for second place. So enjoy being that close to victory for as long as it is, because those Yankees are about to hit a run. Once Tampa cools off, which they will, they're 12-0, which is insane. They weren't supposed to be that good this year.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one thing. I'm almost ready to build a Kevin Kiermaier statue out front of fucking Rogers Place Center, whatever the hell it's called now.
Skydome. Just call it Skydome. We all do.
Yeah, I would say, is it still Skydome?
It's not. But we all call it that.
Was such a J killer. He was like a dude who hit 200. It's like he's
everybody else
defensively, but I feel like he just killed us every time. And having him on our team is so great.
He played well against the Yankees too.
Yeah, our outfield can play defense now.
Yeah,
that's a nice bonus. Anyways, I totally segue that to the Blue Jays, but I like.
How's Berrios doing?
What's that?
How's Berrios doing?
We'll see what happens after next start.
There we go. All right, so let's talk some NBA preview to the playoffs. All right, guys, we got some big games coming up, big series. Let's talk Knicks Cleveland first. Nige, what are we looking at?
Knicks Cleveland. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna defer. I'm gonna throw this to Dom. We haven't heard much of Dom's voice, and he got super jacked when you mentioned NBA. I saw the guy nodding like his head was about to fall off his body.
He loves his NBA. Okay, we'll start.
Yeah,
I missed the
very polite. Canadians are so polite.
Yeah, you missed the recap. Yeah,
I missed the recap last night. Man, that was such a great game.
Didn't you love how the shooting was for Toronto? They hit all those free throws or missed the lack thereof, I guess.
Gene,
I'm sorry, too soon.
I will turn this into my pod if you keep saying stuff.
All right.
Just
don't do it, Matt.
All right, Knicks Cleveland.
Man, it's gonna be the reason I mentioned OKC and my brain today. OKC and who did they play? Oh my god.
Oh, New Orleans.
New Orleans, thank you, the Pelicans. The reason I mention that is I think this series is going to be very much like that one. Mm-hmm. I think every game is going to be close, and I'm really excited to watch that. More so than I am my Clips against the Suns. I'm more excited to watch the Cavs.
Who do you got coming out of that? Well, and not only that, give me the games. What to what? How many games?
Oh God. That's tough because I like Randall, but I think he can kind of fade in games. He gets kind of too hot-headed. From what I've seen of him, I haven't seen that much of him, obviously, because I focus on the West mostly. But I think Brunson is a stud, but also Donovan Mitchell. I mean, I think it's going to be between those two guys. It's going to be tough. But I think the Cavs are going to come out of it.
How many games?
Gene.
That's all right.
I think it's going to go 7.
All right. You know what? I actually think it's going to be. I agree wholeheartedly with you, Dom. I think it's going to be very close. But I do think the one difference I have is and we don't know. We actually don't even know yet if Julius is going to be back for game 1. It's still kind of up in the air. Even with that being the case, I still think we win it in 6. I think we win on our home court. I don't think we lose any at home. And I think we still win in Cleveland. So I got the Knicks winning in 6. Maybe it's because I'm a fan. And it's just wishful thinking because we haven't won a first round series in a long time. But
that's your right, dude. That's your right.
But I feel like you're making fun of me right now, Nigel.
Oh, me? I would never do that.
Nigel, who do you got coming? What, give me your little. What do you think of the series?
My little take. I think this is going to be fun, man. I don't know how much I'm going to pay attention to it because I have no horses in this race anymore. I have no horses in any of the races. But this particular series is exciting to me because you got this young, rejuvenated Cleveland. A lot of teams are in this same bracket, just have young like this fighters, like just dogs that just want to get into it and score points and win the game as aggressively as possible. So I think that's what Cleveland's got. New York, and I said it earlier on in the pod, I think when we just started, New York is one of those franchises, man, that just need this so bad. Like, you guys need this so bad, not only for the team morale, for the front of house, for the front office, and for the fans.
For the city.
But that's what I'm saying. I was getting to that. Like, the city, like the culture needs this win, right? So I'm going to back your Knicks. I'm going to go I think it'll go to 6 games. I think it'll go to 6. One of the teams is going to get too tired to play proper in one of them, so it's going to be a gimme somewhere. So that's why I don't think it's going to go all 7. I think it'll go to 6, and I'm going to go New York.
All right, my man, Matt. What do you got in the series?
Cavs.
How many games?
Donovan Mitchell's going to stick it to the team that should have traded for him, and that I'm going to go Cavs in 6.
They're going to win on the New York court. They're going to come. They're going to win in the Garden.
If Trae Young can do it, anybody can do it.
You're not wrong. Not wrong.
You know what?
I think I like it. I like the NBA better when the Knicks are good, though. So it's nice to see. Nice to see that. But I just like Donovan Mitchell has been better than I think you could have hoped after the trade.
Yeah,
he's injury history and stuff like that. And then Mobley and Garland are fucking awesome, dude. They're such a fun team to watch.
Mobley's so good defensively too. I love Mobley on defense.
So I'm going Cavs at 6.
All right.
Are you writing these down, Gene?
I'm writing these down. Yeah, I'm gonna see where we're at as we go.
Can't wait till I'm wrong on every. So what did I say last time? I got OKC right. Got Raptors wrong. I got Lakers right, although not a blowout. And what was the other game? Oh, Heat. I got that way wrong.
Oh, I got the Heat wrong too.
And if you remember, what did I say about I had the Lakers game wrong as far as the score too. I thought the Lakers would blow them out, but I did have this. I did say AD would be 25-15. He was 25-14. Yeah. And I said LeBron would be a 30-point triple-double. He was close. He had the 30 points. He had doubles and rebounds. And he was 4 assists shy of the triple-double. So I was close on that. But all right, so let's switch over.
I got that pretty good. The Lakers game. I said everyone expect to go out, and I just be careful. The 3 ball. Say it.
All right, let's talk a little Atlanta, Boston. I think that I got to tell you, Atlanta is a bunch of pests. Boston is obviously too good, but here's the one thing where I think Atlanta. I'm not saying they're going to win. I do think I think they're going to be in every game, though. I don't think there's going to be a lot of blowouts in this. I think you might see 1 or 2 where Boston completely shuts them down. But I expect Atlanta to win a game, and I expect Atlanta to keep some of those games close for 2 reasons. Trae Young is such a pest, and they have a lot of guys on that team that are just pests. And I've yet to have any belief in Jason Tatum as a star in the postseason. Maybe this is the year he finally crosses that border and becomes a star. Like, he's been a star in the regular season, We haven't seen it in the postseason. Maybe this is the year.
Last year, man, he set a record for most points in a playoffs.
We got to the finals.
He wasn't great, but
I need this is the year. I need him to step up and be a star. I'm tired. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it anymore. Like, just you're a good player and that's it. Jaylen Brown to me is the stud over there. But I'm gonna take Boston, but I'm gonna take him in 5.
Yeah, I'm same thing. I think Boston's gonna smack them around. I think Trae Young will have one game where he kind of sneaks one out and he has a ridiculous.
Goes for like 45 or something like that.
Yeah, and but I think the Celtics are gonna smoke them. Celtics in 5.
Dom, what do you think?
Well, I was going to do the same thing, but that's really boring. So I'll say.
But be right. I want to be right.
No, I don't care about being right. I don't care.
I'm taking Atlanta. I'm taking Atlanta with the sweep.
No, I don't care about being right. I'm married.
That's true.
I'm going to take Boston sweep. I think, as much as I, take my hat off to Trae Young, he's a star, but nah, Boston are too strong. They're healthy, right? They've got everyone.
They should have everyone. I mean, Robert Williams is always kind of banged up. It seems he's always day to day, but they should be full. They should be the fully operational Death Star come playoff.
All right, I'll go all in on and sweep.
All right, there you go. Nice.
Yo, I'm gonna go complete opposite. I think it's gonna be Boston in 6. Wow. I think that Atlanta is gonna be, just to your point, Gene, and you mentioned it, the key word is pest. And I think that Atlanta is going to give them a little bit more of a run. It's going to be a little bit of a shocker, and they're going to come out flying. And Boston isn't going to adjust well at first, and I think that's going to cost them that game. And I think, boom, there you have it. We're going to go 6 games. Boston will finish them. I'm really interested to see it because the assists per game. I mean, alone there, Atlanta is 18th. Boston is 7th, so it's just there's a lot of sharing. So and for one team,
sharing.
Yeah, right. Sharing is caring. So I think that's what's going to take Boston to the next level. So I mean, we'll see. But I think Boston 6.
There's not many teams I hate more than Boston. There's not, as a Knicks fan, there's not many teams I hate more than Boston, and so I would love for that to be right. I'd love to see Boston get a little nervous. I'd love to see them fall down, I'd love to see them lose one of those first 2 games at home. And really kind of set in the scare a little bit.
They'll lose one at home. They'll lose one at home.
I hope so. I hope if they only lose one game, I hope it's in Boston. Just so the Bostonites don't get to leave happy one night. All right, but let's talk Brooklyn 76ers. There we go. Naj, you go first on this one. What do you got?
Love it. I mean, I'm not going to waste a lot of breath on this. I think it's 76ers in who are they playing again?
Brooklyn.
Exactly. So I think it's going to be 76ers in they'll probably do it in 5. I think Brooklyn will win 1. I don't think there'll be a sweep here. Brooklyn's just somebody's going to be tired.
I get it.
Yeah.
So Don, what do you got?
I don't know. As I said before, I don't trust Doc Rivers.
You had to deal with the man for a few years. You saw firsthand.
And I think Sixers will probably go up 2, maybe 3, and they'll probably shit the bed. And I don't know if they're going to shit the bed once or twice. I kind of agree with Nigel, but again, I don't just want to copy.
Do it, man. Just do it. Jump on board. Jump on the train.
I strongly think it will be. I think the Nets will nick 1. But I don't know, man. I think the trouble will be if they go up like 3-0. Then it could get interesting. Because it's happened to Rivers so many times. He's he's known for it now.
Yeah.
And I kind of want it to happen. So but I'm gonna stick with 5. I think the brain's gonna win out over the heart on this one, and it'll be in 5.
All right, Matt, what do you got?
Well, I was going to say the same thing, but I'm going to switch it up just because Bridges has been awesome since the trade.
Yes, Brooklyn Bridges.
They're a competitive team. They're in a lot. I think they went 13-17 after trading Durant and Kyrie. But they're in a lot of games. They're competitive. They have 18 forwards, I feel like, they can play. But I think Joel's going to go full beast mode. And there's gonna be no stopping him. He's gonna win an MVP, so he's gonna be jacked up for that. And I'll go sweep.
I'll tell you what, I share the brand with Matt. I'm going sweep too. I think Philly. I think there'll be a couple of close games, but I think Philly's just too tough at the center spot. I think Harden. I think Harden. Where some people could say he was a little bit left to be desired in the postseason. I think he'll have a good postseason.
I think everyone. I don't think someone says. I think everyone says that.
But I think he'll be good enough. I think he's gonna have a good enough series. I think they got guys like Maxey and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm looking at Philly with the sweep. So that's what I'm taking there. You know what? Now the Milwaukee game, we can't really do the Milwaukee game because we don't know who they're gonna be playing. But does it matter?
I'll take Milwaukee all day, every day.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I'm taking Milwaukee. I think at a sweep, no matter who it is. Me personally, on either team. Actually, no, I shouldn't say that. I got Milwaukee. I'll take Milwaukee. I think they'll give up a game to either one of those teams.
I think they'll have a brain fart.
I think those are two tough teams. They're gritty.
There's a good possibility that a lot of these top teams have brain farts and they just don't turn up one day, or they have a bad shooting night and the other team has a good shooting night. So I've said sweep on one of these, but I think it's unlikely that we see any sweeps, but we'll see.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what about let's switch up to Lakers Grizzlies.
Boy.
Oh.
This is a good one.
Let's start. Nigel, you're excited for this one, Nigel?
I think this is a good one. Yeah, because I just this isn't going to go full. It's not going to go full 7. Man, I've been really landing on those 6s, man. Because I think that once again, youth and just what Ja can do. He's got a decent supporting cast, and then the Lakers just have the stars, right? The Lakers have the stars, so we know he's got AD and LeBron, and then Schroeder can come off the bench, and we just saw Schroeder came off the bench and dropped 21 real quick, like it was nobody's business. So they're dangerous, but I think, you know what? I think Lakers are gonna do it. I think Lakers will do it, and I think they'll do it in. I think it'll be 6. I think this will be a long series for them. I think it's going to take a lot out of the Lakers. I think it's going to be very depressing and upsetting for the Grizzlies because they've had so much promise for the last 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. They've done a lot of damage, but I think this might blow up the team along with all the drama that came off the court. I think it's going to kind of just add to the series. So Lakers in 6.
All right, Dom, what about you?
I don't know, man. Everyone's on the Lakers for some reason, and
I don't want to be Dom. I don't want to be, bro.
But I watch him. What that Timberwolves game? It's like they got so lucky, and everyone talks about the defense, and everyone talks about this and that, and it's like, well, slow-mo just like can't even dribble through his legs, and they couldn't score because Towns got into foul trouble. But I don't know. I guess the Lakers are threatening, but I just feel like the Grizzlies should win it. So I'm going to stick with that because I hate the Lakers anyway. So I'm going to go with Grizzlies. I'll go 7. I'll go full 7. They do have stars. Don't never count out Bron. And I'm going to love seeing Bron upset when he goes out in 7. It's going to be great.
What do you about, Matt? What do you got?
I can't wait to see what excuse LeBron makes up if they lose. Like, oh, my hand's broken. It's like, what? You just high-fiving your teammates.
It's been broken all season.
Yeah. I'm going Lakers.
It's called heart, man.
Yeah. I'm going Lakers in 7. Memphis hasn't been the same since Steven Adams went down, and he won't be back, I don't think.
No.
Which is weird that he's a fine player, but it's weird that they've been so inconsistent without him. And
he's a backbone of that team. He really is. He's the back. He's the guy. If you've seen, look how he like Ja, man. He's always had Ja's back. He gives. He's like the bodyguard for Ja. He really has been great.
Spread the floor better with him. That's why.
What's that, Dom?
Dom,
I was saying they when Adams is there, it's a floor thing. They spread the floor way better.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's the same as like when I watched Minnesota. As soon as Towns, the floor spacing was awful. If you've got that like dominant big guy, that's not necessarily Towns is a different deal, but Adams isn't an offensive power. He's just in the right places at the right time, and the floor spacing is great, and that's why they work better with him. But I still think Ja's a superstar. And, if he can handle himself in gangs, I think he can handle AD and LeBron.
Yeah.
If he's not scared to have guns in clubs, I don't think he's scared of LeBron.
Yeah. I'll take Steven Adams in a bar fight over probably anyone in the NBA, but I'm taking the Lakers in 7.
I'm actually going to agree with you, man. I think that's the second one in a row we agree on. But
guys, with the Lakers,
not good for you, Gene. Not good for you.
I you know what? I think the Lakers are getting hot at the right time.
How are they hot? They look terrible.
I should say hot. I should say hot. It's healthy. They're getting healthy at the right time. I should say healthy. You say
yes, that's a better word.
Yeah, for sure. And I just think
terrible teams.
Yeah, but I just think that with like the leadership, I'm not saying that LeBron will come out from the trenches and like have a rally cry and everybody's gonna be like, yeah. I just feel like with a little bit of his experience and like AD, like it's the playoffs again. Like when they won in the bubble, that was kind of a shocker. Like we kind of saw it, but then they won. It was like, oh wow, okay, cool, man. This should be the start of something bigger for longer, and it petered out real quick. Like literally the next season, brutal. I just feel like the experience is going to lead them past. I don't know how much farther they're going to get, assuming they win. But yeah, I just think they'll be able to handle the Grizzlies.
I agree. You know what it is I also look at it like this. Don't ever underestimate who the league wants to advance. I'm not saying that they set it up and it's
that
scripted.
I agree with.
I'm not saying they do that, but let's face it. This time the refs know how to call a game a certain way without it being cheating. I'm not saying there's no cheating going on, but I got to imagine the league wants the Lakers to advance. I'm not really saying it, but
the refs skew the calls.
I'm not saying it's like a Donaghy thing. I'm not saying it like the same way Donaghy would fix games. I don't mean it in that sense, but I'm saying, you know what? Listen, it's the same way Jordan would get certain calls, LeBron gets certain calls. I think they're going to get certain calls. I think that the league wants LA to advance. I think they want to also say, sit back, young buck, John Moran. You got some time left. You had some bad stuff happen this year. Maybe we see it next year. I think the Lakers take it in 7.
That I can agree with. If you're saying the NBA are going to swing this game,
I'm not saying it's cheating the same way they put patch.
I can agree.
I'm not saying that they're going to fix the games. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying
that's what you're saying.
But no, we all know the refs call games a certain way. They always give the stars a little bit of special treatment.
Yeah.
This is the beginning of time. I think we're going to see a little bit of that in this game, and I think LA is going to get enough to advance. But then let's get into the next one. We'll start with Dom on this one because it's a little home cooking for you. LA Clippers, Phoenix.
Suns in 4.
Wait, that's that guy, right?
Ask him what his team's playing next week.
All right. Listen, you know what, Gene? That's it. Me and Matt, we're splintering off, starting our own cast. All right.
The heart and the head is so different.
Obviously. Can only choose one.
I'm getting
like Highlander.
I don't think Kawhi has Batman in him this time round. I think they'll get a couple games. Just because the same subject. Like I think the Suns will probably shit the bed or tired or whatever it is. So they'll pick up one. I'm going to say that the heart and the brain is going to mix a little bit, and they'll get 2, but they won't win it.
Okay, so you got Phoenix in 6.
Yeah.
What about you, Matt?
That's so awful for me to do that. To bet against me.
Listen,
I hope I'm wrong, but everyone on the planet is saying the Suns are going to do away with it. So the underdog thing is great for us. We like it. Ty Lue loves being the underdog. So maybe there's a chance in somewhere that we come out of this, but KD's just too fucking good. He's just like one of the
best.
He's
only going to get better there. He's only going to get better in Phoenix as they start to gel.
Right. Especially if you double team him. Oh, wait, you've got Book and Chris Paul. Like, what?
And you guys rating down low, so.
And you got 8. There's just too many weapons. So, again, like, it's the whole everyone's talking about it. If PG was there, it'd be different. And it would, but he's not. So, Suns in 6, probably 5, but 6. I'm going to say 6.
Matt, what do you got?
Is PG back? When they expect him back?
He's like, oh, I'm hoping to be back towards the end of the series, but he's not. That's just PR shit.
I'm going Suns in 5.
Wow.
With Paul George, I think it's obviously a way different series. That's not like breaking news by any stretch, but Yeah, I think the Suns are too deep.
What about you, Naj?
Yeah, same. I'm gonna go with my fellow Canadian, my fellow Canuck. I'm gonna say Suns in 5 as well. There it is. I just feel like this has the potential, again, barring injuries, this has the potential to be a really fun series to watch. Like, these are two completely different teams that are just going to clash, and I think it would be really nice to watch. But because there is some major injuries to some major players and major pieces in the puzzle here, I think the Suns are going to win out, and I think Durant is going to have a major part to play. I think they'll implode. The Suns will implode in one of the games, hence the 5. I think things will just be.
They have CP, so they're gonna fuck up at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't have a clutch gene.
Yeah. So Suns in 5.
But Gene, just before you go, just off what Matt said when he said depth, that the one thing we do have is insane depth. So if we do have a chance, it's going to be with our bench.
I think this series is going to be a lot closer than people think. I actually have them going to 7. I think the Clips surprise a lot of people. I think they take it to Phoenix. Phoenix just for a couple of reasons. Partly because I think the Clippers are better than we're giving them credit. I also think it's because Phoenix, they just added a huge piece to that puzzle, right? With KD. And I know KD how great he is, but there's also that transition period. He didn't play when he first got there. He's just starting to play now. There's still some gelling to do with it. Once they get gelled, they're gonna be so dominant. But until they get gelled, they're going to be trying to figure out like how these pieces work together, and it's going to cost them a game or two, and that alone. And then the Clippers are going to win a game or two because they are a good deep team. I got Phoenix still winning the series, but I got them winning it in 7. I think it's going to take 7 games. I think they're going to win it at home in Phoenix. I think they're going to need that 7th game to take the series. Golden State, Sacktown. I'm going to go first on this one because Golden State is that's after the Knicks. I love Golden State. I think they get the upset. Be honest with you, I don't really think it's much of an upset. I think a lot of people are expecting Golden State to win this series. I got them winning it in 6. I got them stealing one. I know the woes of them on the road. I think they steal one on the road. I think Sacramento's just still a little too young to go up against a team so seasoned in the postseason as Golden State. I think Golden State's gonna drop them in 6. I think they steal one on the road and they win it in Golden State in Game 6. So that's my take on it. Matt, what about you?
I'm going to go the other way just because I want this to happen. I'm going Sacramento in 7. I just want it to happen. I want Draymond to shut up and get out of the fucking playoffs. And I mean, betting against Steph Curry might be one of the stupidest things you can do in basketball, but I'm doing it. So there we go. I'm going. Sacramento's is such a fun team, man.
They are. They're a young, spunky team. I think they're going to be good for a long time. I just think I think this is the matchup that doesn't work for them, and I think there's just.
I don't think it does either. I'm trying to will them to victory. I'm trying to will them. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to say Sacramento 7.
I feel it. All right, Don, what do you got?
I mean, I want it to happen too, but I don't think it's going to happen. I would. Oh my God, I hate Golden State. I would love them to lose, but I'm not going to bet against Steph. He's just too good.
Smart.
And Clay's come into his own too. I despise Draymond Green, always have. I wish he would just get out of the league and just, you can shoot your mouth off as much as you want on your podcast, but just get off the court. You're so annoying. Yeah. But I'm gonna go 7 games. I think De'Aaron Fox has enough firepower to win a few. So I'm gonna go 7 because I think
with Golden State or Sacramento.
With Golden State, because I think the road is a problem. But I think
you got to win that Game 7 on the road. That means
I know. I think they will. I think right. They'll knock it down and do it. But I'm going to go 7 Golden State.
Nigel, what do you got?
Colleagues, friends, gentlemen. This is the only sweep I'm going to call. I'm going to say it loud. I'm going to say it proud. 1, I love me a Draymond Green. I've been with Steph Curry since the days of Davidson, baby. I had Klay Thompson. I had that brother on my fantasy team. Although he didn't do me too good this year, did me a little dirty. I'm calling the Golden State Warriors to sweep. Get the sack to the sack town. They out.
Blacker tomatoes.
Yep, I think they're fun. I'm with you. They're young. We all know that. Those are facts. I just don't think this is the matchup for them to get a W in the playoffs. I think that's a wrap for them. They're going to sell out every game that they have at their stadium. But that's it. It's a wrap, man. I'm going to go for Golden State. Let's go.
I would have loved to do it. I was thinking sweep when I was going over my thoughts this morning. I was like, you know what? I just could see them beating Sacramento. I could see Sacramento being a little pesty, being in some games, but just Golden State really, when it comes down to it, the pedigree, right? It's all about that pedigree. I just didn't have the guts to pull the trigger on the sweep.
De'Aaron Fox's clutch numbers this year in the last 5 minutes of the game are insane. He's he's far and above everybody else. It's crazy.
But postseason is a whole different animal, man. It's a whole different animal, and the Golden State Warriors are battle tested for the last 10 years in these games. So that's the difference maker for me. I think Sacramento next year, look out for them. They could be a possible 1 seed next year. I think really if they keep this team going and keep it together. But yeah, so I would have loved to pull the trigger like Nigel did and go for the sweep. I just chickened out. I think if they lose a game, they're going to lose 2. I don't think it's sweep or 4 or 5. I think if they lose a game, they'll lose 2, and they sneak one out on the road in Sacramento. So then the last series is, again, we don't know who's going to be playing up against Denver. It could be Minnesota. It could be OKC. I personally think it'll be OKC. But what do we think? Who has a shot? Do either team have a shot to beat Denver, Nigel?
No, I think with the streak, the hot streak, and we talked about this in previous pods, the hot streak that Denver has on home court, now it's playoffs, that only accelerates the adrenaline. I think Denver's got this first round on lock. They'll probably lose maybe 1, but that'll be an away game. I think they're going to win everything that they have at home. So I think it's going to be Denver in 5.
I kind of have it the same way. Matt, what about you?
I'll go Denver in 6 because there's always at least 1 or 2 games where Jamal Murray is off.
Yeah. But doesn't matter who it's against, or you say 6 either way.
Yeah, I'll say 6 either way. Yeah. I mean, I think Denver has to go far in the playoffs for Jokic's legacy, if you will. So I'm gonna go. I'll go 6.
Dominic.
I think it's probably, if it's OKC, it'll be 5. Weirdly, if it's the Wolves, it'll be 6. Just because I think Towns is that upsetter. He's just got that thing. He can get 2 games off you. I think.
I get it.
But I don't know. I think it will be OKC. I think SGA will get them through, and then they'll just kind of die a youthful death against them.
Well, you know what? Let's get into some headlines. We got some now. We kind of got that. We'll go over the next rounds once we get into the next rounds. But let's do a little basketball NBA headlines. Top selling jerseys in the league. Let's put that up. But this is only for the second half this year. LeBron James still the number 1 jersey to be sold. I'll tell you what I thought, and we'll go around the horn. But let me tell you what I thought that was the most notable is Kevin Durant for half the season has the number 6 selling jersey. It's not like he was sold halfway through. It was a little bit further past the halfway point that he was traded. So to have the 6th highest jersey is pretty damn amazing to me already. Which is the one that sticks out to you though, Nige?
Wow, that's a great point because they all seem to make sense to me. I guess, I mean, LaMelo Ball, he's been consistently on there since day one, and even the second half when he was injured for most of the time. But it's interesting that he's still there. Pretty great. I really love your point, Gene, about Kevin Durant being number 6 there. Honestly, none of them really. Maybe Jordan Poole, just squeaking it out at number 15. That's kind of a not so much random, but is he a player that are you wearing his jersey loud and proud? Is that many people I'm a Poole guy? Who do you know is a Poole guy? You know what I mean?
I agree. Person.
But
Dom, I agree with the Jordan Poole because I'm there's other stars there. It's just weird. I thought John Moran would be higher, to be honest with you. I thought Joel Embiid at 13. I thought he'd be a lot higher. Dom, what do you got?
There's not a single Clipper on that. What the
Well, that's because they're the Clippers. They gotta play. They gotta play enough games to be able to be people who want to buy that jersey.
Screw that. Who's the shock there? I don't know. I think 10-11. I mean, I guess people from Texas are a bit nuts, so they buy into the whole Kyrie thing. The LaMelo, I guess he's their star, so maybe that's not so surprising. So I'm kind of with Nigel on the Poole thing. I don't know if you've got like Curry, Thompson, and Green. Why would you go buy a Poole jersey? Maybe they're on sale in the store.
In the gift shop. Yeah.
Like that's the only reason I would see Jordan Poole being on that list. That there's some crazy sale that went on, or there was like a batch that went out to a different country because they were kind of defect. People bought that. I don't know. I'm with Nigel on that. I don't know why Jordan Poole's on that list.
I'll tell you one notable thing I noticed. We're missing Toronto Raptors, like Toronto Raptors miss free throws. But Matt, what's notable in here for you?
That's the last one I'm going to give it to you, Gene. I'm going to give you that last one, bro.
Yeah, I want to see the top. I want to see the list of top jerseys returned because I think number 10, Kyrie Irving, is about to be number 1 on that. Just fucking around. I'm not surprised he's on there. I get it. It's like, oh, really talented player. Everyone goes out to get his jersey.
Yeah.
I bet there's a lot of people regretting buying it because I wouldn't sign him if I was an NBA team. But yeah, I say him. Fuck Kyrie Irving. He sucks.
And I say Tatum is too high. I think Tatum needs to be a lot lower than that. Tatum is so overrated. It's beyond me.
That's Boston hate, dude. No, that's crazy.
No. It's legit. Tatum is so overrated.
Fan, that's your guy. Tatum's your
I don't know
guy.
why you'd root for those. There's such a.
I'm not rooting for him. I don't root for anyone but these guys. I don't root for Boston. I'm just saying he's their franchise player.
I get it, but he's so overrated. Jaylen Brown is. I would much rather have Jaylen Brown than him. I mean, like that would be my guy. If I was a Boston fan, I would be rooting for Jaylen Brown. Tatum to me is so overrated and so overhyped. Borderline garbage, if you ask me. Borderline garbage. Not playing, but yeah, he's overrated to me. All right, Bucks hoping to have Middleton back by the end of the week, and also in the same breath, Knicks hoping to have Julius Randle back in time for the first round matchup as well. Do we expect either of these guys to be back?
Listen, I don't know if I expect them to be back. I want them to be back. That's just how I feel because the playoffs are the playoffs. This is some of the most crucial time for some of these franchises, right? Once you make it into the playoffs, and then I mean that's where they make some more money, and that's where the lights really shine. That's where their stars come out and play. So, bottom line, I don't know if I expect them to be back. I just want them to be back because I want both teams to be at their peak and clash. Yeah. I don't want to see a bunch of subs. I don't want to see a bunch of people I don't even recognize on the floor playing for a championship. I'm not throwing any shade to them. I'm just saying I want to see the stars that got them there.
I will say this one thing with Julius Randle. Toppin has played really well in Randle's absence. So there's a part of me that says, are we in bad shape? I mean, Toppin has played the best in his career in the last. I think he has a career high during this span. So. I'm not as nervous as I typically would be. Do I think he'll be back for game 1? I have a feeling he won't be. I feel like he'll be back by game 2 or game 3. My always take is if you could be back for game 2, why couldn't you be back for game 1? Like what was so drastic that you couldn't push it up a day or two? But I think we'll see him by like day 2 or 3. What about you guys, Dom? What do you think about it? Do you think we're gonna get either of those guys back?
I think it's a bigger deal that the Bucks get Middleton back.
Yeah.
As you were saying, I think the Knicks are doing okay without Randle. It's great. We all want to see him come back. We want to see that matchup, but that's why I think the Bucks could drop a game. Like if they don't get Middleton back, he's such an integrity. He's so good. And he flies under the radar. Yeah. Maybe he's getting his props now, but he's so good for them. And again, the floor is spaced better with him, especially with Giannis being so dominant. If you manage to tie Giannis up, he's the go-to. So if he's not back, I could see him losing a game or two, depending on how long he's out.
I had Middleton on one of my fantasy teams. It wasn't this season. I did horrible this season, but a season or two ago, and man, it was one of the best choices I ever made. Like he just was such a versatile guy, and he just was putting up numbers everywhere, and he just added to your total like I play in a rotisserie league. And I just love that guy. I love watching him play. I like the way that he gels with the team and he spreads the offense. He's such a complimentary player. So I agree with you, Dom.
I think it depends what version you're getting because he's been hurt a lot this year and he hasn't played that much. He's shot really poorly. But if they're gonna beat Boston or Philly or win a title, I think they can't do it without him, because I think they need him. His 3-point shooting ability. I know he's under 30% this year, which is awful. But he's been battling up all sorts of shit. So
yeah,
if he's healthy, I think they need him if they're gonna win the title.
I agree to that. I could see that being the case. All right, so what else we got? Arkansas's Anthony Black enters the NBA draft. A lot of people have been going as a top 10 guy, man. Any thoughts about where he might end up? Who might need someone like that?
I don't really watch college basketball outside of March Madness, so Nigel, to you. The floor is yours.
Perfect. Well, I don't.
He kind of fits Toronto already. Toronto already has. You don't need him there.
Well, that's the thing. Like we got too many like guys again, same height, same kind of wingspan and stuff. Man, where would he fit? That's a great
I don't know who
question.
he is. What kind of player is he? I don't watch college either. What kind of player is he?
He's kind of like I guess you'd say like almost not swing, but he plays that guard forward spot. Yeah, I could see him in Orlando.
Ooh.
I think Orlando would be a good fit for him. Atlanta's starting to build something really nice there. I think you'd see Orlando being a good
Really
fit for him.
nice. They're going to be real fun next year.
So, but yeah, so it's good to see more quality talent. I think he's one of the guys that we can expect to really be good when he makes his debut in the NBA. He's not one of these guys like, I don't know what he could do. I think he's a top 10 talent, coming out into the draft. So, and then the Dinwiddie Kuzma beef. You guys familiar with this Dinwiddie Kuzma beef?
No, do tell.
Oh, so yeah. So basically, when Dinwiddie was still in Dallas, he basically had a thing where he basically said Washington players aren't really trying to win; they're trying to showcase themselves to get for the offseason for their paycheck. They're not really trying to win games. And Kuzma took a little offense to that, and they kind of been going through those little Twitter beef, shooting some shots back and forth. And now with Dinwiddie in Brooklyn, it kind of it started up again being on the same conference. So they're having a little Twitter beef going back and forth right now. Still, even though they're not even playing each other, you figure like I could see if this was the series, if it was Brooklyn and Washington, we got something to talk about. But what do you guys think about the whole thing? Is Dinwiddie right? Was Kuzma trying to like mail it in for himself this year? I personally I could see it. He wasn't. I felt like that there was something off in Washington. Washington's got some nice players. There's no reason why they shouldn't be as better than they are. They have some nice players. Bradley Beal's just a fantastic guard. They got Kuzma, who's a good player. They had Zinger over there, Porzingis. They got some nice players.
Good year. Porzingis had a good year.
That's what I'm saying. They got some nice players. They should be better than they are. It makes me almost feel like he maybe has a point that these guys maybe only play for themselves, not for the team.
Facts. That's it. Period. Have you ever watched one of their games? Like we watch it up here. We get to see Washington quite often.
Really?
They're brutal.
Why do they play so much up there?
I don't know. I don't know why. They're in the East, are they not?
They're in the East, but they're I mean, we get to see them every once in a while.
No, we see them 4 times, I guess, 2 here, 2 there, or something like that. But anyways,
I thought you meant you see them a lot in general, just on regular TV up there in Canada.
No. Like the Raptors do. But anyways, my point is like when you watch them play, it literally feels like a bunch of individuals playing a game of basketball. You can't. There's no cohesiveness in that team. So I feel like it's all truth. It's all facts that they're just kind of playing for paychecks. That franchise is just in this again weird.
Nobody wants to be there. I feel like either. Like I feel like Bradley Beal is like just waiting to get out. I mean, I know we've been saying Bradley Beal's been on the trading block for the last 5 years.
But he's getting paid. Beal's getting paid, which is ridiculous. But
I feel like the only reason why he's staying there.
Oh, for sure, he has to. I mean, he doesn't have to because he can bounce. They'll probably, I think, in contractually, I think they're still going to owe him boatloads of money.
Yeah,
and he's not even that great. It's crazy.
He's a nice player. He's not a star. He's a good player. But that's what I'm saying. They have enough good guys on that team. On paper, they should be better than they are on paper. They just don't put it together. So,
Kuzma's always been selfish. He was selfish with the Lakers. I mean, everywhere. He's just a selfish player. I don't like him. I think he's a bit of a dick. So
he is a little bit of a.
He likes to run his mouth. He runs his mouth.
He likes to be a little social media guy. He likes to be an influencer too. Like, pay attention to what you need to do on the court. Yeah,
I'm with Dinwiddie on this one.
And then we got Lillard on staying in Portland. He wants a chance to go for it. Does he finish his career in Portland? I mean, like, can he finish his career in Portland? And can he win a chip in Portland?
No. Portland's not going to win a chip, man. Probably not in our lifetime. Let's be real. Lillard is nice. Like the daggers that Lillard throws up in like the third or fourth quarters and like staring right down the barrel. Like
Dom's familiar with it.
Yeah. I said it without saying it. It's like, he's nice. He's a fun guy, but the way that organization is run, I don't see how they're going to win a chip, two, build a franchise that really wants to compete. They'll always just kind of be somewhere in the mix, but they're always going to be bottom tier until they do something drastic and really go out for A1 players, man.
Well, they can go for A1 players all they want, but who's going to want to go there? I feel like that's not. I don't think it's an attractive enough destination, even with Dame there. I can't.
He's all they got. He's all because Portland could be a forgotten. I feel bad. I'm not trying to knock Portland. But what else other than that does Portland have other than the Blazers, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe something like the old, like the
craft
beer. Maybe that. Yeah, it's a very. Maybe that's. I feel like it's like the Seattle of the '90s is Portland now. It's the Seattle of the '90s, but.
They got kind of screwed. They got kind of screwed in recent years in the come playoff time when they're having good seasons. And like Nurkic, I think Nurkic went down 2 years in a row. Yeah. For the playoffs, and he was a big part of that team. But I mean, I think will he finish his career there? If he wants to. Yeah. They're not going to move him.
I don't think. Go ahead, Dom.
I think mentally he's done with it. I think he's tried. He tried to be loyal, but just the way he's played this season, I don't feel like he's really in it. He hasn't been. I mean, the team has just been so terrible. I don't know what it is. I just feel like when I've watched him in previous years, he's always had that get up and go and that grit to try and fight back. This year, he's just been like, okay, I guess another loss. I'll go.
Would be a great fit for him. He'd be a great fit in every team, right? Like even if you haven't played, but you know where I think he'd be exceptional is with your team, Dom, and the Clips.
I mean, we would take him. We would love that. I mean
everybody would, right? But I think
point guard of that stature with Kawhi and PG, that would be. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Hold on. He makes $61 million starting next year.
Yes, that's the tricky part.
You fit that into a cap situation.
No, nobody with a half decent team can fit him under the cap. If you already have a half decent team,
$61,
and that's why, and that's what makes it so hard for the cap, though. Yeah, but and Bomber will go. That's a big.
You're like, you know what? Fuck it.
That's a big pill to take on the penalty for that. That's a big pill to take on that penalty. And that's the thing too. Dude. He does. He does have. Yeah, he has.
I don't think it'll happen. I'm just saying. If there was crazy enough money to do it, it would be him.
Unfortunately, I think this contract got to be up before he moves. I think he's going to stay there for this contract, and by the end of it, he'll get moved. Maybe that final year in that contract, he'll get moved, and then sign somewhere where he'll fit under a cap. But yeah, most teams that are already decent, where you'd want to bring him to be like that last piece, they're already going to be in a situation where they're not going to be able to fit $61 million under the cap. They're just not. So, but all right, let's continue with our headlines. We're going to hit some Hollywood headlines. Helen Hunt's Twister 2 got rejected by the studio for potentially some shady reasons, says co-writer David Diggs of Hamilton fame. It's a shame because I looked into this a little bit. So Helen Hunt was looking to do this new film where it was going to be like it was all be black and brown storm chasers, and it was going to take place at a black historical college. And the studio didn't want it to happen. Whether that was the reason why, we don't know. But David Diggs seems to think it is. But is it me, or would it be a no-brainer? That film that Helen Hunt is trying to pitch, wouldn't that be a no-brainer hit?
Well, I'm gonna slow you down for a second.
Do brothers like storm chasing?
Yeah, no, we don't like storms at all. So that shit is already fiction. That movie's already heavy fiction. No,
might as well be Star Wars.
What I was gonna say is like, I reading this article and putting in the work to find out some more information about this. It's bananas to think that, not only is she writing the script because she wrote the script and then she's in the movie, but then the cast is going to be diverse and take place, or like the hub would be around this HBCU. I just felt like there's just a lot of overcompensation for it, like just a lot of the diversity card. And this is from me, a brother saying, oh, wait, hold your horses. I love the idea, but then you read further in the article and you find out some more information that there's already a sequel in the mix that's coming out next year called Twisters. That's not involving.
Oh, wait, is that a sequel or is it just another film?
No, it's a sequel.
Then I misunderstood because I thought it was just another Twister film about Twister. I didn't realize there was another sequel already in the works that was in that
with Daisy Ridley Jones as the lead. But like to Nigel's point, like just because a script is diverse doesn't mean it's good.
That's a good point too.
That too. That you might have been just doing a bad script. Man.
It could be as simple. It could be as simple as that. And I mean, I'm kind of like the first one was fun, but is anyone really clamoring for a Twister sequel?
Dude, we're over disaster movies. We're done. I
think we think that now, but I think if they would have put it out, I think it would still make a shit ton of money. I think we think they're going into it. Yeah, we're gonna next year. We'll find out. But all right.
Any money.
Machine Gun Kelly's mainstream sellout live concert comes to cinemas for one night. Anybody care?
No.
It's actually going to be directed by Sam Cahill from Life in Pink. Directed Life in Pink. I personally am not a Machine Gun Kelly fan, unless we're going to get to see his ex-girlfriend up there.
Anyone that likes him, I guess, because I don't.
He's kind of a punk, I think.
Teenage.
I can't
stand him.
I just think his journey's been so bizarre. That's all I got. That's all I can contribute. It's just such the choices.
He did a smart move. He's ever since he switched from rapping to this pop punk thing, his career kind of took off. So I mean, kudos to him. That was a good move. I don't really like him or his music. Well, I shouldn't say I don't like him. I don't know him. I don't like his persona or his music really. There's a couple tracks that kind of bang, which I hate to admit it.
Guilty pleasure.
Yeah. But yeah, no, fuck. I don't care. I'm not watching that.
Me neither.
I'm not watching either. But again, shout out to the guy because he packed a stadium in Ohio in his hometown, which nobody's ever done before. When you can do that, but I mean that's just a testament to your hard work. When you can do that, First Energy Stadium is called. I mean, 50,000 people. Look, man, that's great. You're coming home. People want to support. Cool. But yeah, I'm not going to this concert. I'm not watching the movie.
Yeah, I'm not even in the movie theaters. I'm out. So
gross.
We got John Wick prequel series. The Continental reveals the hotel's killer origins in first trailer.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited to see this. I mean, John Wick is taking the movie world over by storm. Matt, right? Are we in?
Hell yeah. John Wick, the one thing they've done such a fucking awesome – God, I swear way too much needlessly. But they've done such a great job of world building. And every movie getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the whole – like John Wick 4 was awesome. And it was such a fun experience, a great theater experience, really cool movie. 3 million people die. And but the whole idea of the Continental, that hotel that's like sacred grounds for assassins and stuff like that, and they pay with the gold chips, and you can't kill each other on Continental. I think it's so awesome. I'll watch that in a heartbeat.
I will too. And you know what? Rest in peace to Lance Riddick, who's recently just passed away. If you don't know him from this, you know him from The Wire at least.
Yeah.
Fantastic actor, gone way, way too soon. But yeah, I love it.
Do we know? Is
I
it
don't
Chad?
know.
Is Chad getting directed?
You know, I'm not sure. That's a good
Here's
question.
the thing, right?
I don't think he is.
So if Chad or Dave aren't doing it, I worry about it because those guys obviously started it, and I've worked with Dave, who's just a phenomenal director and collaborator. And I think without one of those guys at the helm, it could turn into like, what was that terrible movie with Jamie Foxx that about the vampires?
Day
Day
whatever
Shift, I think. Yeah,
I think Chad produced that, so I worry about like the production, like the original team producing it, and then like someone else directing it, because I think those two guys are so great at what they do, and that's what makes those movies special. So
somebody else is directing it. I just want to jump in just so you don't have to think with the hypotheticals. So I guess it's one or two. It's two. I think it's two episodes, if you will, or two. Is it three? Yeah, so it's 3. Albert Hughes is directing the first one.
Oh shit!
And Albert Hughes is directing the first and the last one. and Charlotte Brainstorm is directing the second one.
Albert
Okay,
Hughes.
if it's not like an action fest, then I'm sure it'd be fine. But if it's like trying to do the
Brainstorm.
John Wick thing, I worry about it slightly. But
Did you
we'll
watch
see.
the trailer, Dom?
I haven't seen the trailer yet.
I mean, that might change your mind.
You didn't do your research. What did you work with David on? Bullet Train?
Bullet Train, yeah.
That was a fun movie.
Yeah, you did. The music was fantastic, Dom.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Bless you. Yeah, no, it's super fun, and I'm working with Dave on his next one too. So it's he's
Ball
the best.
Guy?
Yeah.
Ball Guy? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Dave, I always get them confused, Chad and Dave, but Dave did Atomic Blonde as well. Right?
That's right. Yeah.
That movie rocks. I almost swore again there. That movie's fucking sweet.
You keep it up. You're not going to get into the Disney gig again. You want that? You want that Disney money, don't you?
Yeah, I need a lot of money there, bud.
Yeah, Atomic Blonde was amazing.
That movie's one of the most underrated action movies the last 10, 15 years, I think. Even though it was a pretty modest hit. It wasn't like it didn't tank or anything. It made some money. But that movie's awesome. I love it. Anyways,
You
we're done with that.
guys see my cat crying? My cat has been meowing for like the last half an hour. And
No, your cat
Nobody hears it?
doesn't know where it is.
No, it's not that one. That's the old cat. The other cat, this one is another one that's outdoors who's really mean.
Yeah. No, Dave's the real deal, man. He's I mean, the finest collaborator I've worked with, and it's always so much fun. And you it's a clean slate, and you get to do whatever you want, and it's always best idea wins. He's just he's so great. So
nice. That's cool. Good to hear.
You guys have a good track record together too. So Warner Brothers Discovery unveils Max. Everything revealed at combined HBO Max Discovery Plus streaming presentation. What does this mean for streaming, guys? I mean, Warner Brothers and HBO together. They've already let us know some of the projects that are going to come out of there. And we'll be talking about them in a little bit, so I won't even give them away. But there's some big series that are going to be coming out of this on this streaming service. What's it like to take HBO, Discovery, and Warner Brothers to mishmash them all together? Nige, what do you think?
I think you get some real fine ass documentaries, and I think you're gonna get some movie quality series, TV series. That's what you're gonna get. I mean, you have two of the most renowned brands in their categories. You know what I mean? You know what you're gonna get. But I went through some of their trailers. I watched three of the top 15, I think, whatever that they're selling the new brand Max with. Penguin looks ridiculous.
Really
listen,
good.
man, Matt Reed is really putting in the work.
I believe Colin Farrell's coming back for it too, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah, he is 100%. Selling that world, it looks almost exactly the same as the movie, and I'm sure he's learned the Batman. I'm sure he's learned a ton from what the Batman did, and he's just accelerating or creating more of that world. It looks phenomenal. If you're into animation, which I am as well, Secret of the Mogwai, which is the Gremlins. Right, with little I can't remember what's his name?
The Mogwai, Gizmo.
Gizmo, thank you. With Gizmo, I couldn't remember his name. That looks phenomenal. That looks super fun too. And there was one more that I watched. I can't remember what it was. But anyways, man, I think it's great. It just means there's another competitive streaming agent out there. That's all it means to me.
You know, and you said two, but it's really three. You got HBO, which was when you think about home cable, that was they were the ones that they were the only ones at one point. And then you're gonna have Warner Brothers, which is that studio house as big as it is, and then Discovery, which is you had Disney paired up with National Geographic. This is their version of their National Geographic. Discovery, I think all three of these that are involved are going to be tremendous.
True Detective. That was the third one. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, and that looks good too.
Jodie,
the trailer looks dark and looks fantastic.
Who is the detective in it?
Jodie Foster.
Jodie.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
He's
the last season was pretty good. The Mahershala Ali one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The second season was trash.
It was a little tough.
It wasn't the same quality.
Jodie's a badass. That's gonna be amazing.
It's gonna be good. All right, what else we got? We got DC's Creature Commandos unveils voice cast David Harbour, Indira Varma, Alan Tudyk, and more. I believe James Gunn is actually going to be playing one of the roles as well as G.I. Robot. Nigel, I feel like this is right up your alley.
Yeah, you know it, bro. You know it. I'll try.
I know my blurs.
I'll try to make this quick and concise because I just spoke a bunch on the Max category. But this is going to be James Gunn's first feature or first dip into the James Gunn world. So the new DC, if you will, DCU, and I think this is gonna be really fun. I know some of these characters individually. I don't believe they have a book together. I could be wrong, which is like Creature Commandos. I don't know if it's an actual thing. It could be. But I'm really looking forward to it. One of the really key features about this is that everybody who's doing the voice acting in this particular feature, if their character is going to be in a live action movie, they will play that character in the live action movie. I think that's a really smart move, especially for continuity, obviously, because audibly we'd hear that, but to see them in real life playing that character is going to be fantastic. I think it's going to be fun, man. We're going to get more James Gunn. If anybody liked Guardians of the Galaxy and some of the other works he's done, you're going to get this kind of fun, which is exactly what the DCU needs. It needs more fun. I'm not trying to yuck anybody's yum on the old stuff, right? But I think that this new look is going to be really fun. This is a great way to enter into the new DCU.
That's the second day in a row you hit me with the yucking.
I did on purpose. I looked right in your square when I did it too. Looked right in your eyes when I did it.
Oh man. But are you guys looking forward to this?
I mean, I don't really watch a lot of animated superhero shit, but I could be to Nigel's point. James Gunn does some fun stuff. I thought the last Suicide Squad movie was really fun. I really like the Peacemakers series.
Peacemaker's so good. Yeah,
I thought that was great. And yeah, man, I'll watch more of this stuff. I'm sure I'll watch it.
And we got Guardians coming out. He did Guardians too. That'll come out in about
the third Guardians. Yeah,
weeks,
that comes out. That comes out next month.
The 5th. Yeah, it comes out. I'll be actually at the advanced screening of it.
I'm a little over the whole superhero thing. I'm doing a Superman TV show right now, but I do my two things are Superman and Batman. I'm all in. Everyone else can go away. I have I literally have no. Actually, I take that back. The Spider-Verse, the Spider-Man.
There you go.
Oh yeah, that is.
I love that stuff. So the old guys, I love the oldest MCU Marvel stuff. I mean, hey, if anyone wants to hire me to score one of those movies, I'm in. But I don't watch them. It's too much. It's just saturated. Going back to the whole, because you didn't ask me to speak on the whole streaming thing, but going back to like the saturation of stuff. If they can buy the right stuff, if they try and make too much content and do a Netflix and I'm gonna eat everything and just the gluttony of it all, it could go really wrong. But if they take the more of the Apple approach and really calculated buying of stuff and really putting a lot of money in good places, could be cool, because Apple are killing it, man.
Apple's got some good
they
products,
really are nailing everything right now.
Yeah, they're on fire right now. All right, so let's go on. We're running short time, so we're going to go a little quick. New Big Bang Theory spinoff is in development at HBO Max, which is obviously going to be the new big thing. It's going to be the Max. Anybody care about Big Bang Theory? I was never a big fan.
They've gone wrong already.
Listen, I think it'll do. It's going to be different characters. I think they're going to have. We're just going to be in the same universe. I was never a fan of the show. I know it was a hit show. I know it was huge. Was anybody a fan of it?
No. But my in-laws love it. And they
it's got a fan base.
People that would watch that kind of thing, and they sit there and they laugh their ass off.
My dad ate it up, so yeah, I don't know.
I feel like everyone. I feel like everyone who likes The Big Bang Theory also likes every CSI show too.
That's a good point. Maybe it's the whole CBS thing. I don't know. All right,
I love CSI Vegas. Get out of here.
There we go. Conjuring TV series. Send those checks. Conjuring TV series development at HBO Max. We got a bunch of HBO Max stuff coming up that we'll be talking about. How do you guys feel about a Conjuring series?
Yeah, I'm in on that.
I'm all for it. I think and James Wan supposedly is in talks to be attached to this as well as a producer. So as long as he's involved, I mean, James Wan's what made that series so great to begin with. As long as he's involved, and I would love to hope. I don't think they said it if it was going to be or not. Maybe you guys missed it, or maybe I missed it. You guys caught it. I don't know if the cast is going to be the same. If it's just going to be other stories in the universe, or if they're going to use Vera Farmiga and I'm blanking on the dude's name that plays the lead on that. I'm blanking on his name.
Patrick Wilson.
Patrick Wilson, fantastic actor. They're great in those roles. I would love to see it be a series with them in it. I don't know if that's what they're going to do. I haven't heard yet one way or the other, but James Wan is with James Wan attached. I'm sold already. I think they're pretty much what it comes right now as far as horror is concerned. I think they're it. But but also I'm happy about that. Harry Potter series adaptation officially ordered at HBO Max will feature entirely new cast. So we talked about this recently about whether or not this was going to happen. It seemed like it was going to, and now we know that it is. New cast, and can correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like these are going to basically be new series. Each season is based on each book. So are we going to see like remakes? Is that what they mean by that?
I mean, yeah, I think to an extent, I think it's just like, again, they're going to look really good. And I think there's going to give you like bits, right? Like we'll have 10 episodes for a whole movie or whatever, and deep dive into things with new characters. Exactly what Caleb and I were mentioning the other day, So I think that's what it is. I mean, they already ordered 10 years worth or something like that. So
yeah, it's like nuts. But do we think I guess not if we think it would work. Let me ask you guys what you think. Would you rather have seen new stories in this universe, whether it be current, like now with Harry growing up, or are you okay with seeing stuff that is part of like you said, it's almost like the Easter eggs in these books that didn't make it to film, seeing those stories maybe come to life, and it's still almost like a remake at that point. What would you rather see it as?
I mean, I'm not a big Harry Potter guy to begin with. I've only seen, I think, 2 movies.
Yeah.
So I probably should watch the rest of the movies.
They're good movies. I'm not into the whole wizard stuff either, but those are good movies, man.
Yeah. I was more of a like Lord of the Rings.
I loved them. I loved all the movies. I worry about the series. It's always tough when you do those things because it's like, do you try and switch it up and make it different, or do you go with nostalgia and tick those boxes? But my main worry is just the music. What they're going to do. They're going to use the themes. I mean, John Williams clearly isn't going to do it. And, we've had a few of those movies really butchered his material. So, which luckily didn't affect the films. But yeah, that's my main worry. Like, I'm all for it. I'll watch Potter. I'll watch it. Stories, but musically, you don't nail it, I'm going to turn it off.
And it better be good because, like Nigel said, they already booked it up for 10 years. Like they got like pretty much every book that they're at, they already signed up for each season. So it better be good because we're going to get a bunch of it anyway, right?
Yeah.
So what do we got? All right, next up, Latin music revenue hits a record high of 1.1 billion per RIAA report. I think that's big news for the Latin community to see that it's actually, and it went up double digits 2 consecutive years. Percentage wise, I think that's huge news. That Dom, you're a musician. How do you feel about Latin music? I know you're
huge. Yeah, it's in the last few years it's gone bad shit. I mean, Bad Bunny obviously.
Bad Bunny alone might be responsible
has a lot
for it.
to do with that. I mean, just working on Bullet Train, I got to work with a lot of Latin musicians, like big deals, and Spanish musicians. I worked with Alejandro Sanz on that on the Wolf song, which was amazing. And I'm all for it, man. I love it. It's joyous. Bring more of it. I love it.
Cool. And I think you're right. I think we're seeing a trend. I think it's only going to get higher and higher. So let's go to the next one. Timbaland talks with Justin Timberlake and talks to new Justin Timberlake and Missy Elliott albums, Beat Club, Versus, and more. Listen, I love Justin Timberlake, but is Missy a little bit past her prime at this point? Like we haven't had a Missy album in like what 20 years? You're for it? You're here for it?
Bring it all day.
I'm with Don.
Timbaland and Missy Elliott all day. Bring it.
Listen, you want to give me like a couple of records with her on it and so many but can Missy carry a whole album nowadays?
Yes, Gene. Yes, she can.
It's all right. Missy Elliott.
I know what Missy Elliott meant in the early 2000s. I wondered. I get it. Matt, are you Missy Elliott? Yes or no?
I'll fuck with it. Yeah.
All right, I'm listen, I love the old.
Funky's all hell. I could. Yeah.
Her and Timbaland and Magoo were like fantastic. That was it back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Love to Love You. Remember that? Magoo. But we haven't like if she just hasn't been constant lately. I mean, can she pick
with Timbaland?
Can they pick? Man. But is it gonna sound good? Is it gonna be something that are we just getting something for the hell of it? All right.
It's gonna sound amazing, and I'm all for Justin Timberlake as well.
I'm all for the JT, man. I'm all for the JT. All right, and then we got Jay-Z performing at the Louis Vuitton event, which is, I believe, it was for the Louis Vuitton Foundation. It was for who's the Andy? It has something to do with Andy Warhol.
Basquiat and Warhol, yeah.
Anytime you get to see Jay-Z perform live, I can't wait. And this is like kind of an impromptu one that kind of came out of nowhere. He can still do it on stage. This is something I would love to be able to see myself, guys. Give me a new Jay-Z album and I'm all in. Give me all right. Give me Jay-Z and Timbaland, I'm all in. Or you know what? I'll tell you what. I'll let Missy get on a few tracks with Jay-Z, with Jay.
Okay. So you've allowed it. It's all good.
Yeah, exactly. I do want to comment on this event, like this Basquiat and Warhol.
Yeah, go ahead.
Man.
What do you got?
This would be amazing to go to. And if you obviously with Jay-Z showing up, if you can make that night, like this would be amazing. The artwork that both of those people have put out there in the world and their change in pop culture and from the underground and from the diversity, like their cultures, like not only being Black, but LGBTQ, like they're both of their vibes, man. If you ever get a chance to see any of their exhibits, whether it's solo or combo, like together, go see it because they've had both Warhol and Basquiat here in Toronto. And I didn't bat an eyelash. I went to the Basquiat one twice, like just to see his work and read about his history and where he came from and how he came up and the influence that Warhol had on him. Those two hanging out, like I mean, Google those two hanging out. It's such a weird combo, but they make sense, and you got to see their work. That's all I got.
I'll tell you what. I'm not a big art guy, so I can't really call it that. But I'll tell you what, I would love to see. Anytime you could put like any kind of art to music, I think it meshes and it blends well. This we were talking about MGK earlier doing a concert series. This would be a concert in a cinema. This would be something I might pay to see in a cinema if I can get like one night only of Jay-Z with all the artwork and stuff. I would pay to see that. Everything we know about the King Charles III coronation. Does anybody care about this, Dom? That's where you're from.
I'm not a royalist, man.
Not a royalist?
No. I mean, the Queen had some staying power, and props to her, but no.
I know it looks like Prince Harry's going to make it there, but Meghan's staying home, so that's the only thing I know about it. And let's move on to our last. Moving on to our last headline before we get out of here. Game of Thrones Dunk and Egg prequel officially ordered to series. HBO has put together there's so many things that HBO has mentioned that they got. The show is going to be called A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. It's 100 years prior to the novels, and it's the story of the Kingsguard, Sir Duncan the Tall, and future King Aegon Targaryen wandering around Westeros. You guys, I think I'm more excited about this series than the one that we got last year with the other prequel. I think this.
I heard it was good though.
I haven't seen it yet. We talked about it the other day. I haven't seen it yet either. I will eventually see it. I think I just want to be able to binge watch it a little bit, maybe get another season too. But this one here sounds more interesting to me than House of Dragon. Nigel, I know you're a big fan of the Game of Thrones. What do you think?
I'm in. So it's just done. They're always done so well. The acting is phenomenal, and just again, Matt had mentioned world building in the John Wick movies. Again, this franchise has done the same thing, albeit they have great resources to build from the books, but now they're kind of going into their own thing, and it's still keeping up with the Joneses, man. So bottom line, I'm in. I'm in. So
yeah, they're playing their hits. They're doing Harry Potter. They're doing Game of Thrones. They're they're trying to catch up. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there it is.
Make sure people buy that.
That'd be cool. I loved Game of Thrones so much. Yeah. And I was just when the new show was announced, it wasn't like Game of Thrones was exhausting. Like
it was
into it. I was like, fuck, man, I don't want to go back in and get attached to characters and have them die.
But you do.
I'm looking forward to the one they said they're going to do with there's going to be the Jon Snow series. I'm excited for that one. Just because I'm familiar with those characters
in Game of Thrones. I want that crossover.
The crossover. I love it. I'm here for it. Guys,
before we go, we cruised over one headline that I want to touch on very quickly.
Which one?
Goth cast in Blade.
Did I miss it? Did I pass my ass?
Yeah. Go before number 10.
Oh, my bad. My bad. Yeah, there we go.
That's awesome. She's terrific. If you've ever seen that horror movie X and the sequel Pearl, fucking pretty.
I haven't.
She's terrific. She's also in Brandon Cronenberg's last movie, which is weird and kind of disturbing. What the hell is it called? Infinity Pool. and
Okay.
she is terrific. And so she's like a horror icon right now. She's like a young Jamie Lee Curtis for that genre, and I think that's a perfect ad for that. I still think Marvel's going to pussify Blade a little bit, but
I hope not, because listen, casting wise, I'm not familiar as much with this actress as you are. But Mahershala Ali is about as good as it gets when it comes to young acting.
Sure,
he's not.
And they are in Disney, and they are doing Deadpool 2 or 3, and it is
which is rated R. So hopefully
there is room for it. I just hope they don't go for that PG-13 kind of thing, because that's the fun part about Blade.
Blade's got to be rated R. I agree. Blade should be rated R. It should be. It's in that same vein as like Deadpool, but it's about more of the horror stuff. Yeah. I agree. I'm looking forward to see. I totally didn't realize. You know what's funny is when I got to the end, I thought oh, so maybe I didn't add that one because so I just missed it. All right, guys. Last words, Dom.
Man. I'm doing your job for you.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. You're looking out for me. Thanks for calling me out, throwing me under the bus, Matt.
I got you, baby.
Yeah, no, you got me.
Hey, back to the Raptors, bitch.
I was about to give you one more Raptors.
Nigel, I got you, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
You got me, but you know what? You got me more than the Raptors have games. So, Dom Lewis. Last words, Dom Lewis.
Fired. Last words. I don't know. Just be kind. I'm happy. Happy Muncie's hitting home runs again, and go Clips.
There you go. Nice. Last words.
Hey, the weather is nice out. Get out there, get yourself some vitamin D, soak up all that oxygen, baby, and just love. Hug somebody.
There you go.
I love that.
Matt, final words of the day.
Go Leafs, go Jays, go. Fuck Raptors. Let's go, baby.
There we go. Guys, we're going to see you tomorrow, man. Have a great today, a better tonight, and we will see you tomorrow.
Peace.
That's the pop-off for today, folks. Thank you to all of our listeners, as well as our producers, Patty Puddles and Fareed Kameo. And make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear what these hooligans will pop off about next.